Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Hello, this is Zack Sabre Jr, New Japan Cup winner 2018. And you're listening to Keepin It Strong Style with my mates. Enjoy.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping it strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here, joined by the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be reviewing Sengoku Lord. We'll also be giving our predictions for Wrestling Hi No Kuni. And of course, we'll cover all latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns over at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. This episode of Keeping It Strong Style is brought to you by Powerslam.tv. Powerslam.tv is an independent wrestling streaming service with over 4,000 hours of wrestling from companies across the world. Use promo code SOCIALSUPLEX to get your first month free. Also, make sure you check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt, as well as all your other favorite shirts. Shout out to Omega Goon, who just got his Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt, rocking that. And shout out to our boy Joe Saba in Australia, rocking the Social Suplex Podcast Network t-shirt.
Yeah, I heard he was unable to pick up a One Nation Radio shirt because it's got political implications over in Australia.
Yeah, it means something different over there.
but we're over out here in these streets, man.
Yeah, man.
And you know what? I got to tell you, I've got one of our shirts, because just as you do, because I am a mark for myself.
So am I.
And I got to tell you, it's one of the better pro wrestling tees that I've ever gotten. I don't regret the $20 that I put down to get that. And you definitely wouldn't either. So, yeah, high recommend. Yeah. I mean, our logo's freaking awesome. Yeah,
shout out once again to our man, Mike Ferg.
Mike Fergus.
Who designed all the logos here on the network, on the website. So,
bro, he does impeccable work.
Yeah, man.
Love it.
Yeah, so go give him a follow at Sir Mike Ferg on Twitter.
He's also always posting really funny stuff, so he's just like good content just in general.
Yeah, the man's awesome. Speaking of awesome, we saw the Time Splitter this weekend.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
On the Largo Loop, Kushida, he's been making his rounds on the Largo Loop the last couple of weeks, and we saw him team up with Keith Lee to take on Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly from Undisputed Era.
Yeah, man. Kushida out there on the illustrious Largo Loop with such luminaries as Babatunde, Luke Menzies, all the heavy hitters.
Jeet,
our boy Jeet.
Dude, this man Jeet Rama He's a star.
Bro, in Tampa, yeah, it's so funny. In Tampa, I didn't know how like big Jeet was, but as soon as like Jeet came out, like he's freaking over, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
he's not too shabby, man.
I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were starting all the chants, Jeet forever, to Jeet. Whoop, whoop.
Holy Jeet.
Yeah.
Holy Jeet. Jeet is awesome.
Yeah, Jeet is awesome.
Jeet forever.
Fight G, fight. Fight G, fight.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, bro, like, I gotta imagine that, like, the people in the back are like, what is going on? Because by far, on the same card as Shayna Baszler and Kushida and
the
Undisputed Era,
the Viking Raiders,
the War Raiders, which by the way, they got booed.
Well, the name Viking Experience got booed.
Yeah,
but now they're the Viking Raiders now.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much better. I can handle that. Okay.
They're still Ivar and Eric though.
Well, I mean, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, but like bro, the biggest pop of the night, the most investment of anyone, like, it's got to be a Tampa anomaly, but still, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, dude, we're creating a local star out here.
He's a hometown hero. But yeah, man, for $10, we went. Where is it? What's the arena that we go to in Tampa?
It's the University area community center or something like that.
Yeah, man, for $10, we got to see Red Dragon face Keith Lee and Kushida. They had a really, really that was match of the night. They had a great match.
Hands down, yeah.
And I was when I heard the music, I was like, "Is it Kushida? Is it Kushida?" And then he came out, and then it dawned on me. I was like, "Oh my god,
dude!" I marked out, dude. I was jumping up and down. I was like, "Kushida, Kushida!"
I was just like marking for Kushida in general, but then when I realized, like, oh my god, we're getting him and Kyle O'Reilly in the same ring again.
Yes.
And big match recommend if you've never seen their Best of the Super Junior finals, I believe from 2015. You got to go out of your way to see that match. It is incredible. 5 stars. Big recommend from the young boy. But yeah, being able to see those two in the ring together again, I was like, man, someone put the belt on my boy Kushida. This man, him and Gargano, oh man,
dude, yeah, those matches are gonna be fire.
I'm about it all day, bro. Him and Buddy Murphy.
Oh yeah,
come on.
But Buddy's on SmackDown now.
Whatever. him and Velveteen.
Oh yeah,
him and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Or him and what's the other dude's name? The other KO Ono.
Him and Roddy.
Yeah, man.
And before
him and Roddy.
Yes.
Come on.
Before we jump into our reviews and stuff, we had a question, non-wrestling related, from our good old pal, Reddit user Jar of Peanuts. He wants to know, how are you guys liking Game of Thrones Season 8 thus far? Well, Jar of Peanut, I do not watch Game of Thrones, but I know the young boy does, so I'll let him take it away here.
Dude, Jeremy's a loser. All he does is watch this wrestling shit. I'm like, yo, you ready to see these dragons? He's like, what you mean? You mean Red Dragon?
You mean Dragon League?
You mean Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
Ultimo Dragon?
Ultimo Dragon? I was like, nah, like Khaleesi and,
Kalisto? the Lucha Dragons?
This is gold. This is off the top of our heads. Oh my god, so funny. Anyway, so now, yeah, but your boy Jeremy doesn't watch.
Here's the thing, like, I'm sure I would like Game of Thrones. It seems like the type of show I would like, but there's
a lot of sex, man.
There's just way too many seasons right now. This is season 8. Like, there's no way I'm going to try and dive in and catch up in time for the normal season. Like,
here's the thing, what's a show where what's a really good show that you watched where you're like, oh my god, and you just binged the crap out of it and you couldn't put it down?
Stranger Things.
Yeah. I was gonna almost say, I don't know if you saw Breaking Bad yet.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's on that level where it's you just have to freaking binge it because it's so good. You really could catch up, honestly. But yeah, man, this season has been freaking awesome. I'm not gonna post any spoilers. There's probably people who are literally turning off the podcast as soon as they heard,
or fast forwarding. Yeah,
there's probably people who heard Game of Thrones and they're like, oh god,
delete.
But it's all right because we already got your download, kid. But no, man. Spoiler free. I will say this. I'm loving the new season. The last 2 episodes have been less than an hour though, and there's only 6 episodes this season, and they've got a lot of ground to cover. Luckily, the rest of the season is going to be around like an hour 20 or even longer than that for the rest of the season. So hopefully that will help benefit and pay off some of these storylines. But man, if y'all know, it's about to go down. Oh my God. Like, yeah, so I'm loving the new season. It's destination viewing. Game of Thrones is an incredible show. First couple seasons, if you're not familiar, a lot of sex. Lot of sex. It's kind of gratuitous, not really necessary. But show's kind of slowed its roll, kind of calmed down. It's more about the meat and potatoes. It's kind of like coming out of the Attitude Era, moving into the
PG,
the ruthless aggression. No, not quite PG. We're still in the ruthless aggression era.
Gotcha.
We still got Cena, talking about FU and Five Knuckle Shuffle. We still got
and D's nuts,
hot lesbian action. D's nuts, all that stuff. So, yeah, but man, this season, I'm just like. There was a big reveal on this, like, there's a big reveal that happened this last episode, like, right at the end where you're like, oh, man, what is about to happen?
The higher power?
Nah, man.
Vince McMahon?
No. No, Warrior versus Hogan. No. Hogan versus Andre. The insurmountable force meets the immovable object. Oh, my God. And I'm not talking about the war. So it's going to be, and they're about to head into battle. They're about to head into a battle. So, they're pretty much doomed. Like, they're going to get killed. These White Walkers, dog. Glacier and his crew coming in, messing everybody up. Anyone else who has like a Sub-Zero, like, cold character you can think of in wrestling? Stone Cold.
Yeah, Stone Cold. Besides it,
what was the name that they were going to give Stone Cold? Like Frosty McFreeze or something like that?
Yeah, something
awful.
Something dumb, yeah.
But yeah, man, Jar of Peanuts, this season is really, 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 really good. Last season was what I would consider one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. So I'm very stoked, but I don't want it to end. We got 4 episodes. I don't want it to end. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so let's move off this fake stuff and move on to the real thing.
To the real, yes.
The real.
Got Sengoku Lord to cover. There were some Road 2 shows that happened before Sengoku Lord from the last time we recorded.
Life-changing shows.
Nothing.
Breaking the star. They broke the star rating system again. The match between Tsuji and Yumura.
Tsuji
8 stars, bro.
So now Tsuji and Yumura, after this last week of action, they are now 2-2-24.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a development. Man, they need to just tag these guys up, man.
And I just want to give a shout out to our boys at Voices of Wrestling. They're saying that nobody watches these Road 2 shows. Well, Rich, Joe, Young Boy, and I here, we watch every Road 2 show.
That was Rich and Joe saying that?
Well, I don't know which one, but somebody else tweeting that, nobody watches these Road 2 shows and there are a lot of solid, multi-man matches. I was like, man, we're out here watching these shows. I'm throwing my snowflakes on the Grapple app.
I'm telling you guys, in a world filled with, just foolishness and craziness on the WWE side of things and people getting into all these crazy arguments. Is AEW paying for TV? Aren't they? Does Meltzer have credentials? Just let's just tune all that out because we are in a beautiful, beautiful bubble. This New Japan bubble is a bubble of protection. It is a safe place. It is welcoming, and it has the best mother effing wrestling on the planet. And these Road 2 shows are just a testament to that, man. Every time you turn one on, easy watching. And you know what I like about it? You don't have to pay real close attention. Mm-hmm. You can just turn it on. It's enjoyable, easy, quick watches. You get to build the stories. They give you a little taste, a little nugget,
some breadcrumbs.
But if you don't watch them, it's fine. But if you want, like, if you miss one, it's not gonna be the end of the world. you know. But if you do watch it, they reward you for it, and the wrestling is so good.
I mean, they've been main eventing with these 10-man LIJ versus Chaos. Solid matches. You know, LIJ is the best faction when it comes to multi-man matches.
Actually, you know what, Jeremy? I think you're underselling that a little bit. Name me a better 10-on-10 combination of any faction that you can think of from since we started doing the show.
I don't think I can, man.
Nobody does multi-man matches as good as LIJ and Chaos. They have the best matches. You know, you go back and you think about all the OG Bullet Club, Elite Bullet Club Elite, even even Suzuki-gun, you know. They're not out here getting it the way that it is when it's Chaos versus LIJ.
Right. With Suzuki-gun, you have to have the right combo of guys. With Chaos, it doesn't seem to matter who you have in there. What combo you mix up, it's always going to be great.
And I'm glad we're getting true Chaos on this tour. Mm-hmm. You know, as much as I enjoy seeing the mashup of Seki-gun guys and Taguchi Japan guys with them, it's kind of nice just seeing the classic. We got Chaos, we got LIJ, run it.
Yeah. So definitely, if I were you guys, if you love great wrestling, great multi-mans, I would go back on these Road 2 shows. So we'll catch these main events.
They're doing a great job building up for the Okada Sonata feud. They're doing a great job building up the junior tag feud between LIJ and Roppongi 3K and
Bushi and Shingo. Also, a great job building up Evil versus Ishii.
Evil and Ishii, which that might really deliver. It's hard to have a bad match with Ishii. He might bring out the best in Evil.
Yeah, I mean, just from the interactions in these multi-man matches, I'm like, okay, let's do this.
You know what though? They got us. Remember last year, all those great interactions between Goto and Evil, and we were like, oh, this is gonna be good, and then it was not good, but still. The multi-man matches between Goto and Evil were better than the actual matches. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into this show. Yeah. I'm excited.
So we're going to be reviewing Sengoku Lord. This happened on Saturday. Things kicked off. We had Shota Umino and Ren Narita taking on the team of Tsuji and Yumura. So the deadlock rivals here, 2-2 and 24. They're decided to team up tonight to take on the elder statesmen of the Young Lions
division.
Young Lion division, Umino and Narita.
It's a division, man. It's a division.
What do you think about this one, man?
Everything I expected it to be. It didn't go quite as long as I thought maybe it would go. I mean, it was pretty short.
Yeah, this was I got clocked in at 7 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, but man, they really delivered. All these guys can freaking go. And I feel like with Umino and Narita's experience, dude, there was a time where I used to be Narita's the guy, and Umino's got some flash, but bro, dude, Umino's closing, he's closing that gap, man.
Real quick, dude. Yeah, Umino has definitely
stepped it up.
Yes, he's taken his game to a whole nother level, and especially with those one-on-one matches he had on the last tour with guys like Tanahashi. You just see how much he's improved in the last year, and I'm very excited to see where he could potentially be going for Excursion, and getting him a gimmick and getting him ready to be a full-time character.
And you're absolutely right, and that's not to speak ill of Narita, because Narita has done nothing but improve every time I see him get in the ring. So these guys, bro, they're ready to go, and seeing them work with Tsuji and Yumura, I think it really helps elevate those guys. Dude, New Japan is a freaking wrestling building machine. They build the best wrestlers in the world. They just do. And this match was really, really, really good. The stuff with Umino and Tsuji, the forearm strikes and all the exchanges on the ground, everything they did standing, just really, really, really good. Tsuji playing the Ricky Morton in this match, face in peril. It was a little weird seeing the bigger guy get worked over like that and have to defer to Yumura, but I kind of like that they do role reversals like this.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I think that makes these guys so much better is yes, typically you would have the smaller guys selling, but they're making sure no matter what size you are, whether you're tall, short, more muscular or slender, all these guys are getting the experience of being in every role.
Well, that's the beauty of the Young Lion system, because everyone knows they're a Young Lion. So you can believably put them in any position, you could imagine a guy like Tsuji maybe being in another company and then being like, I don't want you leaving your feet, pal.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You're the hot tag guy. You know? But no, in New Japan, we know what these guys are. They're still developing. They're still learning. And like you said, they put them in uncomfortable situations. And they put them in growing and learning situations all the time. I mean, conversely, Yumura being... I mean, you could definitely see him as being the hot tag guy, but not when you have him teamed up with a partner that's bigger than him.
Right. Maybe he was teaming like with Narita.
Exactly. But yeah, I thought everybody played their role well here. Narita, Umino, Tsuji, Yumura, all these guys were just on fire. Once Yumura was tagged in, they started getting him and Tsuji had the upper hand for a bit. That they had an awesome double drop kick on Umino. They even got a near fall on Narita. He got hit with that awesome double underhook suplex.
Yeah.
But ultimately fell to the Northern Lights suplex from Narita.
Yeah, Narita hit that beautiful. He gets that high gable grip on them and just boom, pops the hips, gets them over for that big belly to belly. Gets into the Northern Lights kind of bridging position there and gets the win, man.
Yeah, so I really dug this. I thought I was gonna dig this. I definitely did, but I'd go like 3.5.
Yeah. That high?
Yeah,
I think I was like 3.25 on it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
But yeah, it was an awesome opening match. Question from our man Rambone Slam Pig.
Nope. Let's move on. We got a short amount of time. We got more important question askers than Rambone. We don't have time from this week. Sorry. No, what's my man saying?
So Rambones, he says, what are your thoughts on the plans for Umino and Narita? Are they ready for excursion? Are Tsuji and Yumura destined to be a package deal, the tag team?
Let me tell you this. Shout out to Rambone Slam Pig. He's the real one, asking the real questions. You know that you got real New Japan listeners, followers, when they're not asking you about Okada or Jay White. They want to know about Tsuji. They want to know about Narita. That's my dog right there.
So first part, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the plans for Umino and Narita?
I don't know where they're going, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But Umino and Narita are ready. Right now, they're ready. I feel like they're more ready than Oka and Kawato were.
Yeah.
I feel like they're and I love both those guys. Like, we've sung their praises on this show for a while. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're in a better spot mechanically, working the crowd, reading the moment. I mean, all those guys have their different strong points, so it's not to say, that not to bury the other guys, but I feel like they're more ready than the other guys were when they left.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly be surprised if 2019 ends and these guys are still here.
Part of me says yes. Another part of me says they might keep Umino around. Maybe for a little while. I know, obviously, that there have been examples where that's been to the detriment of some guys, like a David Finlay, but a
Toa Hanare.
Or a Hanare. But let's be clear here. Umino ain't Hanare, and Umino ain't Dave Finlay. Not to bury those guys, but in the eyes of the company and what they see in him, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a Tanahashi run, sticking around like the early days when because Tanahashi didn't go on excursion right away. There's lots of guys like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they went that way. I also wouldn't be surprised if he winds up in, Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Wrestling Silas Young and Brian Malonis and the whole crew.
Or maybe he'll be on Arena Mexico Friday nights, or
that's where I'd send him.
Or maybe he'll be at Rev Pro.
It's shown very, very clearly that, the strongest place you can send your workers in today's day and age is Mexico. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see both these guys go there.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great spot for both of them.
But I think the company has big plans for both of these guys. They've shown how durable and how talented they are. I don't know if Tsuji and Yumura are destined to be a package deal as a tag team, but I would like for them, whether it's as Young Lions now, and maybe they don't come in together later, or I wouldn't be opposed to them having a tag team in the future when they're when they come back.
I mean, I think I'm expecting almost like a Desperado, Hiromu kind of thing with these guys, where there's always that back history between them, and you can come back to that at any moment.
Yeah.
And so anytime they face off, you can bring up, when these guys were Young Lions, they deadlock record. Neither of them can get the upper hand. That builds into the story when they face each other once they graduate. Absolutely.
Also, something about Tsuji and Yumura, they have such an old school vibe to them. There were these times where you had these guys that would be tag teams, but also rivals back in the old days of New Japan Pro Wrestling, So I wouldn't be too surprised to see them in a situation like that, where like, hey, sometimes we're friends, like a Muto Hase situation. Like, sometimes we're friends and we tag, and then other times we go to war, even on the main roster.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like that.
So yeah, Tsuji and Nomura are awesome, and I'm looking forward to those guys just, getting some more shine once Umino and Narita go on excursion.
Sure.
All right, so next matchup here we had Nagata, Kojima, Honma, and Hanare, and Liger taking on Suzuki-gun of Suzuki, Taichi, Kanemaru, Desperado, and Taka. What do you think about this one?
You know what? I was reading ahead. So this was fine. I did notice Taichi got a big pop when he was introduced. Like, maybe almost bigger than almost anybody.
Yeah. Liger got a pretty huge pop, too, in his reaction.
Yes, that's true. The match was worked real smartly. Hanma hitting the Kokeshi on Taka, and tagged out, and then he was never tagged into the match again. He pretty much just did one thing, and then he was kind of gone, which that might have helped the overall match.
Yeah. How are you feeling about Honma? Do you feel like he's gotten any better, more stabilized? Are you still worried about him?
I'm always going to be worried about him. He's clearly not the same competitor he was before. If they feel confident in him, great. But it's very clear he's never going to be what he was prior to the injury.
Yeah. I think it was a Road to show where he did the diving Kokeshi off the top and missed, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, that's one of those moves. Harley Race invented that, and he said, I wish I never had invented that move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was in this match. I thought what was real interesting was the stuff between Suzuki and Liger.
Yes, that's a big talking point in this match. Suzuki was just, Liger was his target, and just, the Suzuki attack, strong strikes.
It got a lot of heat.
Yeah,
Taichi trying to rip off Liger's mask.
Yeah, and then the post match promo from Liger. Liger was pissed off, and he was like, what is this? Like, I thought we were having a match. Is this a fight? It's like, you want to fight? Like, I'll fight you anytime, anywhere. Like, and then, Suzuki is, like, we have unfinished business. Like, you came to Pancrase, and, like, we fought, and, like, we got to finish this.
Yeah, he fucked up Liger. That was one of, like, in my early fandom days of MMA, like, I found out that Liger had an MMA fight, and I was like, what? And I didn't really know Suzuki too much back then, and I saw Suzuki, I was like, this dude just freaking destroyed. Liger tried to wrestle in a mask, bro. Like, it was not wrestle, but
try to fight in a mask.
You know who else did that? Del Rio.
Yeah.
Del Rio used to fight
Dos Caras,
as
right?
Dos Caras, yeah. Got head kicked to oblivion by Mirko Krokop in Pride. Like, it was awful. It was like forever on their highlight reel. But Liger ended up making a comeback, tagged in Nagata. From that point, we got everyone else, joining in, going through their spots. Finish came when Taichi and Hanare were in the ring together. Taichi used a buzzsaw kick and super kick, followed by the stretch plum for the submission victory. At about 12 minutes, pretty good tag match.
Yeah, I'm digging the stretch plum for Taichi's finisher. Nice, deep, tight. Looks painful. I'm digging it.
Yeah. Pretty good match. I think we could have gotten more drama with some more near falls, maybe some more tagging in. But, I think a lot of what they were trying to do was to build heat off the Liger stuff. So
right. They're trying to set up the multi-man match that's happening at the anniversary, Liger's 30th anniversary. And so I have a question about that from our boy Muzza, who is now part of the Social Suplex team. He's going to start writing some columns for us. He did a Sengoku Lord prediction column last week. So shout out Muzza, welcome to the team. But he asked, could we potentially see Kishin Liger during Liger's 30th anniversary show?
I I was thinking that could be a possibility, the way he was cutting that promo on Suzuki.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like that would be the freaking craziest thing ever. Like, Kishin Liger and Minoru Suzuki, like, Murder Grandpa, the guy that everybody in the company is afraid of and, terrified of. And then you've got the ultra-violent, dark side of Jushin Thunder Liger. Like, yeah, put the kids to bed. Like, this is going to get color. Like, this is going to be violent. Like, dude, I'd be all about it.
I didn't know I needed a Suzuki Liger one-on-one match this badly in my life.
Yeah, but specifically, it's not Liger, it's Kishin Liger we need.
But even if he doesn't do Kishin, if it just ends up being Liger versus Suzuki, I'm down. But Kishin Liger versus Suzuki would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think they should do a one-on-one?
I would love it.
Because they're doing a multi-man at the anniversary.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it. Alter egos are fairly commonplace in wrestling. You think about guys like Finn Balor transforming into the Demon, Matt Hardy becoming Broken, Undertaker, returning as the Dead Man, even like Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Right, Kane, Corporate Kane.
Yeah, Muto turning into the Great Muta.
Yeah.
And the thing that's so great about Jushin Thunder Liger, if you guys are unfamiliar, the Kishin Liger alter ego is something that has only happened 3 times in his entire career, and it's only reserved for the most disrespectful of opponents. And when Kishin Liger comes out, you're gonna get killed.
Dude, I mean, maybe we do see it for the multi-man.
That's possible.
Yeah.
The whole thing, what's awesome about the transformation is that, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Jushin Thunder Liger, obviously iconic, the horned mask, the bodysuit, like, he's a superhero. And in most, wrestling, dating back to Lucha Libre in Mexico, the removal of an opponent's mask is seen as one of the
most disrespectful thing. That's
it's like sacred.
Yeah.
And there was a match. The first time the transformation ever occurred was in 1996 when Liger was facing the Great Muta. It's one of my all-time favorite matches, just in general, but especially in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And throughout the match, it was the first time they ever fought. And, I mean, just think of that. Muta and, like, the Great Muta and, Jushin Thunder Liger. Like, that's awesome. But, yeah, Muta is just using underhanded tactics, and he keeps targeting Liger's mask, and he eventually rips it off. And Liger's just laying on the ground, just covering his face up like a regular, like a luchador would do.
Mm-hmm.
Muta leaves the ring to go grab a chair, and when he comes back, Liger rises up and rips the rest of the mask off, and his face is painted white, and he's got red kanji like symbols on his face, and he howls like a freaking wolf, and Muta's face he's so afraid, and he freaking sprays mist in Muta's face, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, we need that. We need Kishin Liger and Suzuki, dude. Dominion, let's do it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's happened a couple other times before. Or since then, Kishin Liger in 2006 against Bad Boy Hito. That time, though, he announced the transformation beforehand because Hito had cut off locks of Liger's mask, and Liger wanted revenge. And that match was freaking crazy. We're talking barbed wire bats, chairs, scissors. Just really, 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 really crazy. And then the last time was actually back in New Japan 6 years later. Kishin Liger made his third appearance during a junior tag title match. It is on NJPW World if you want to check it out. But he was teaming with Tiger Mask. They were taking on the team of Taichi and Taka Michinoku. So some continuity here.
Yeah.
Representing Suzuki-gun. And
well, the whole backstory with Suzuki-gun, Taka, and Taichi in particular, they were targeting Jushin Liger during that time period, and were always trying to rip his mask off.
Yep. And they were trying to, just like 16 years earlier, they ripped the mask off. Liger rose up and he sprayed mist into the face of Taichi. And when Liger makes this transition, not only is it just that his face is painted, he sprays mist, but his body is covered in paint as well. He usually rips the bodysuit off, and then he goes crazy, bro. He will grab, he'll try to stab people. He wants to stab people with stakes. He just gets ultra violent. So, Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see the return of Keishan Liger. It's only happened 3 times, but it feels like
for this
might be the time.
The way, the anger in that promo that he cut on Suzuki after the match, like, I could see it happening, and I think it needs to happen on a big stage, like Dominion or Wrestle Kingdom. Like
my another big recommend for me, and we're getting a lot of recommends on this show. It's kind of nice, but yeah, check out the match between Liger and Muta from 1996. Spoiler alert. Liger's not victorious, but it is recommended pro viewing. If you've never seen it and you consider yourself a New Japan fan or a pro fan, you got to see this match.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Next question comes from our man, Reddit user NJPWEXT, our boy Danny behind the New Japan World Extension. Got to meet him.
I use the extension
in New York.
Extension's great.
Yeah, Danny, thanks for that extension, man. That's great stuff, and it was great meeting you in New York. He says, how do you guys feel about the way NJPW keeps legends on the active roster as opposed to the WWE way of phasing them out and making them special attractions? On the other hand, I love that Liger, Kojima, Nagata, Tenzan, etc. get to keep doing what they enjoy, but it's bittersweet to also see them so low on cards, whereas they were once main eventers. The thought of Okada jerking the curtain one day is tough to imagine, but maybe that's better than only being brought once a year for a nostalgic match. What do you think?
Well, NJPWX, Danny, you've got a great point, but one thing to take into consideration, what is the alternative? Well, in many cases, the alternative is these guys go off, they start their own vanity projects, they book themselves at the top of the cards, they continue to tour in tiny gymnasiums with like 100, couple hundred people. They do it a couple times a year. They freelance and just show up whenever they can. And we're talking about like your guys that are still wrestling right now, your Tenryus and your Choshus and guys like that. Well, Tenryu's done, but for years he wasn't. And that's also time waits for no man,
right?
And at the same time, like those guys do it. I don't want to discredit them. I'm not saying that them still continuing, if they're passionate about it, they want to continue their wrestling career by all means. But it is something that's kind of sad when you find out these guys are still wrestling, but on the equivalent of the Japanese indies,
right?
For like a couple hundred people, no television,
for a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're making more than that, but still, for hot dog. Do they even have hot dogs in Japan?
Probably not.
I actually don't think they do, because I remember watching a show about that. You remember that kid the little tiny Japanese kid who used to win all the eating?
Oh yeah.
And I remember watching a show, and he was saying he couldn't get hot dogs in Japan. He had to get like these mock sausages that were kind of similar, and he had to train with those. But I think that the nice thing is, like, you see these guys, Kojima, Nagata, Tenzan, Liger, Nakanishi, they are helping. Well, they're recognizable. The fans still love them. They still help draw. They're still bringing in fans to the crowd. I've had my share of criticisms about the health of Nakanishi and the health of Tenzan. And I don't feel like they'll be wrestling that much longer, in all honesty. But at the same time, they help bring valuable experience to the young lions and the other wrestlers that they wrestle with. They help still draw audiences. They're not taking up a big spotlight from guys like Okada or guys like Kenny Omega or Naito or what have you. I feel like they're utilizing those guys to the best of their ability. It is bittersweet. But then it's also nice where every once in a while you'll get the Liger nostalgia run. You'll get the Nagata nostalgia run. So I feel like New Japan actually does better with their legends and not overexposing them or over-pushing them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely like the New Japan way better than the WWE way. Like you mentioned, it doesn't take away from the up-and-coming guys. I think that's the main problem right now with the way WWE does it. Every year at WrestleMania, you're expecting your favorite guys, your mid-carders. You want to kind of bust through the glass ceiling to get, a big one-on-one match at Mania. But then here comes Batista. Here comes Triple H. Here comes The Undertaker. Here comes Brock Lesnar. On and on and on. Then your card is filled up with all these guys that may or may not be able to perform at a top level. And then you have guys that are either stuck in a multi-man match or not even on the card or on the pre-show because they had to make room for all these legends.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, it would be one thing to send these guys home and bring them out for a big match, but if they can't go, you know, and you want to treat them like a special attraction, I feel like that's detrimental to the integrity that New Japan has built with their in-ring level, you know, the work rate that you see in New Japan. Whereas in some cases, I feel like it's almost somewhat beneficial to give them these easier matches, let them go out there, do their thing. They still add value to the company, and they don't draw away, like we said, from the other guys. I feel like Undertaker is the perfect example. And, you know, there is something to be said for treating guys like they're special and bringing them out every once in a blue moon, and that's one tactic. So I'm not totally criticizing that, but when a guy really can't go anymore like that, and then you're still pushing him in a big money, big spot when you could be pushing Sonata, you know, or something like that. Yeah, that's a problem. So I'm all for it. And
you know, and I like, you know, you get them in a 8-man, 10-man tag, 6-man tag. They can hit all their key spots. More than likely, they'll be going against probably Young Lions. So you see your favorites get a win. You see all the favorite spots. You know, I can see my Kojima match and him hit, you know, Koji Cutter or Lariat, the chops on, you know, Narita or Umino and get a nice little win.
And let's be clear here, too. These guys are giving back as well because, yes, they pick up wins over the lower-level New Japan guys, but then, you know, they'll be in a multi-man match or a tag match, and they'll put over a GOD, or they'll put over, you know, a Killer Elite Squad,
right,
or something of that nature. Or they'll be in a multi-man tag match, and one of them will take a Rainmaker, you know? But then it adds credibility because, generally speaking, they're still winning the majority of their matches. So I feel like it's a smart thing that they do.
Yeah, and then, you know, when they do have the rare one-on-one match, it's a good rub for whoever beats them. Like, you know, this guy was a decorated, you know, former IWGP champion, you know, but obviously, just, you know, with his age, he just couldn't keep up with the newer, younger guy, and it just helps get the next guy over.
Last thing I'll say about this probably, everything I'm saying probably sounds counterintuitive to some of the comments I've made in the past. I'm still going to reserve the right to groan and mumble and complain about a Nakanishi or a Tenzan match just because of you know, their current state of health. But at the same time, that doesn't detract from the point that, you know, the way they're being used is excellent and makes lots of sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're utilized perfectly. You know, it'd be a different story if we were getting Tenzan and Nakanishi and one-on-one matches all the time on the tour in matches with guys that they can't hang with and then beating them, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, they're utilized perfectly, and I'm happy with the way New Japan handles these guys.
Yep, thank you for the question. Great question.
So our next matchup, we have Makabe, Yano, and Dragon Lee taking on Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Taiji Ishimori. Of course, this match is, you know, setting up the Never Six-Man match, which happened today. We didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but that match happened today on the Road 2 show.
Real quick, before we, in the background, obviously, I don't watch this, but Jeremy does. We got Raw on in the background, and something from the group thread just came about. James Boyd said, Sami Zayn is a promo god. So he must have just cut, like, something fire.
Yeah. But yeah, so this match is setting up the Never Six-Man match that happened today. Also, it's setting up the upcoming heavyweight tag team title match, and it's also setting up the junior title match with Dragon Lee and Ishimori.
Yeah, this was good. Obviously, I feel like the shining, you know, stars in this match were Dragon Lee and Taiji Ishimori. They stood out head and shoulders above, you know, the most violent players and GOD by far.
Yeah. When Taiji and Dragon Lee were in there, like, the match felt like it was on a different level. It almost felt like two different matches. Like, you had Taiji and Dragon Lee in there, and, like, they were just going at it, and then you get, like, GOD and MVP in there, and, like, the match just, like, changed.
One thing I thought was really weird, with the way that the build has been between GOD and MVP, especially with Toru Yano, there's been a lot of shenanigans, a lot of stealing of the belts, what I would have perceived as leading to a lot of comedy in this match, and there was pretty much none in the match. And, you know, that's something that a lot of people usually will criticize. There are those fans who don't like the goofy, wacky comedy, especially with Toru Yano, but I feel like in this match, it probably, because of the way the story's been built, it probably would have helped, honestly.
Yeah. Because you have the whole thing now where Tama Tonga, he has like a Santa Claus sack, which he stole the Never Six-Man belt, and he puts them in there along with the Ring of Honor tag titles.
He keeps all the belts.
Yeah, it comes
the champ.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could have done with some more, shenanigans with these guys, but it was also kind of good too to see them try
Just
to have
straight
more
wrestle.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, it's not a criticism of it. There was nothing I would say, oh, they were god awful. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like the stuff with Dragon Lee and Ishimori was a lot more dynamic. Obviously, the caliber of workers they are, that makes all the sense in the world. So
yeah, and that their work has got me so pumped up for their singles match.
Dragon Lee is over with the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
The interactions he had with them and the selling he was doing, he was getting a lot of simpy. And, he got hit in the back with the kendo stick from Master Heater Jado. Mm-hmm. And, allowed Ishimori to go on the offensive. I thought, but that's one thing that stood out to me is how over Dragon Lee is with this crowd.
Yeah, and since we're talking about Dragon Lee, I'm going to mention this news story right now. So Dragon Lee, his match in Arena Mexico on April 12th was his last match at CMLL for a few months. He's going to be going full-time in New Japan through the Dominion show.
So that means full-time for Best of Super Juniors and all the Road 2 shows and everything.
Yeah, and all through, probably towards the end of June. So, dude, I'm all about that, dude. More Dragon Lee, yes, sir. And he was great in this match and all the, the multi-man matches he's been in on these Road 2 shows. And I'm psyched to see him in Best of Super Juniors. I'm psyched to see what he does at Dominion. So, yeah, I'm all in on Dragon Lee. But this match came down with Makabe ends up hitting a lariat on Tangaloa while Yano gets the cradle off the lariat, and MVPs and Dragon Lee get the win here.
Yeah.
But, then after the match, they Bullet Club attacked Yano, and Tama Tonga ran away with the belts in his little title sack there.
I'm liking this. I'm liking the whole stealing of the belts. At first when it happened, I was like, that's a little derivative. They've done this before. Mm-hmm. It's not the first time, but I like the little wrinkle that, Tama Tonga stole all the belts back. Kind of makes it funny.
So next we had the match of the night. The epic encounter between the Crown Jewel and the Bullet Club Hunter, Mikey Nichols versus Chase Owens.
Hey, listen. Stop laughing. Stop laughing! Oh my gosh. You need to stop making these terrible jokes on our show, because this match was really freaking good. You're not lying. You're trying to be all sarcastic. This match freaking ruled.
But it was not match of the night, though.
It was pretty close.
I don't know about all that.
Bro, main event was right here. You guys can't see, but I've got my one hand up. Nichols and Owens was right here. They're touching if you can't see. They were right there. No, that's a little bit hyperbole.
Yeah, I'm about to check what's in your vape, man. But I gotta say.
Oh, speaking of which, did I tell you that I smoked weed this past weekend?
No.
But it was CBD. So I didn't get high. The weirdest. Okay, we gotta talk about this real quick. Weirdest freaking experience of. Okay, guys, so listeners, just so we're all clear here, I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed at all. But with that being said, here in Tampa, this place just opened up. It's like a hookah lounge, and every now and again, I like to indulge just a little bit. I'll go out to a hookah lounge. I'll go relax, whatever. But I found out that there's this CBD hookah place, and I'm like, CBD, you know what CBD is, right? Yeah. They derive that from marijuana, but it's it's non-psychoactive, non-hallucinogenic. You don't get high from it. And I used to work at a juice place where, if you wanted a couple drops of CBD to help with inflammation or help calm you down, relax you, calming effect, we'd put it in there. And I've actually had flare-ups. I work out, my back hurts sometimes, and CBD helps with that. It's good for you. It's actually what they give to kids who deal with epilepsy and stuff like that, and it's really good. But I was like, okay, well, they got this place that it's a hookah lounge, but it's not nicotine, it's not tobacco, it's just CBD. I didn't know that even existed. Got to check it out. So I'm out with my boy Reggie. What up to Reggie?
What's up, Reggie?
I know he don't listen, but what up, Reggie? I'm going to tell him, like, yo, I shouted you out on the show. He's going to be like, oh, word?
For real, dog?
For real? Getting over in these streets. Yeah. But, yeah, we go in there, and, like, I'm like, yo, it kind of smells like weed in here. Because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what it was. Because, you know, you go into, like, a hookah lounge, it doesn't smell like tobacco.
Right, so like all of the fruity flavors or whatever.
So we start talking to the owner. Owner is real cool. Place is called Inda Couch, like Indica, and then Couch, Inda Couch, CBD, you know, lounge. Here in Tampa Bay. For those of you who want to check it out, WrestleMania weekend, if they're still in business. I don't know if they will be or not. But yeah, so this dude's like, we're talking about, they just opened, he's showing us all the stuff, and then he's like, yeah, I got this, and he pulls out all these giant green buds. And like, I used to do a lot of drugs when I was a teenager, and I was like, bro, those are nugs, bro. That's freaking weed. He's like, nah, dog, these are special strains. There's no weed in them. I'm like, no, bro. I see it. There's crystals all over it. There's red hairs. It's weed. That's weed. He's like, bro. He's like, I'll smoke a joint with you right now. You won't get high. I was like, all right. And I've told you guys before, I'm reckless. So I was like, all right, run it. So, like, he hands it to me, and it's a joint. It's straight up a joint. I hit it. It hits just like weed, maybe a little bit more mellow. And, bro, I didn't get high at all. Like, it was so freaking crazy. Like, I probably wouldn't do it again because I don't really like smoking like that. Mm-hmm. But just to try it this one time, and I was like, what in the world? Like, it's a different world out here in these streets nowadays. You could just be smoking weed and not getting high. It's crazy.
What kind of gimmick is that?
Yeah, what kind of gimmick is this? I will say, though, that the hookah was fire. The hookah was great. I wouldn't smoke the CBD weed again. I don't know about all that. You know, unless I really want to get high, I'd probably just smoke regular weed. But, yeah. But no CBD weed today. There's nothing bad in my vape right now. But this Mikey Nicholls Chase Owens match, I got to tell ya.
Yeah, I gotta say.
I thought it was really good.
It was better than what I was expecting it to be.
I think it's Mikey Nicholls' best match in the company so far.
I mean, he's only had a few of them.
Yeah, but one of them was against Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah.
And this was better than that, I think.
Yeah, I think this was, I gave a majority of the credit here to Chase. Like,
absolutely.
He had Mikey Nicholls looking like, a babyface in peril. Like, he was just beating down this man and getting the sympathy on Mikey Nicholls, just being a vicious heel. Jado attacked Nicholls at the beginning of the match with the kendo stick, and then Chase just went to work after that, throwing him into the barricade and all that stuff, and just kind of working him over the rest of the match, and just looking really dominant until the end where Nicholls came back. But yeah, it was a good little match.
I liked it a lot. I liked it a whole lot. The whole match, I was like, this is good. Now, disclaimer, because there are probably some people who watched it or are watching it and think, what is Young Boy talking about? Let's be clear here. I am a big fan of Southern style wrestling. This was not like a crazy spot fest. This wasn't a junior style match or, a Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi style match. But I feel like we saw some of the best of Chase Owens here. I mean, every little thing. People sleep on Chase, man, and I know I give him praise all the time, but it's because I'm a fan of his work, and like seeing him in the singles role, doing all these little things, the way he was attacking Mikey Nicholls' neck, the way that he was just building the heat, like this is a Southern style guy in New Japan, and I really, really, really like it. And I gotta tell you, I didn't think Mikey Nicholls did much. But him just selling and taking on the offense was great. Yeah,
just Chase just taking it to him. You kind of wanted to see Nicholls come back and do something.
Yep.
But like you said...
And Owens was in control almost the entire match.
Yeah, this was like 80-20.
I'm a big fan of that sometimes. Not all the time, but this idea that a match can only be great if both guys get equal offense. Like, no, I'm not... That's not my philosophy, I'm a big fan of storytelling. I like it when a match tells a great story. And sometimes you can have a guy get dominated and maybe he doesn't even come back. Maybe he does. I don't know. But even still, you can tell a great story with one guy selling the majority of the match. That's possible. And in this case, they did. And I mean, dude, some of the stuff Owens did, the Russian leg sweep into the guardrail, the neck what was the neck breaker, the hanging neck breaker
yeah,
to the outside.
yeah.
Bro, Nichols' head bounced off the cement. At one point, I made a joke. I was like, "Yo, someone told Chase Owens, like they were like, we gotta teach this Mikey Nichols kid a lesson. Tell Chase to take care of business because Chase Owens was vicious out there, bro."
Yeah, dude, Chase was destroying this man.
But towards the end of the match, Nichols got a big comeback, some lariats, a spine buster, Death Valley driver, sliding lariat. He got a near fall. Soon after that, Owens was back on the offense, and then he was just running off the ropes. He ran right into a Mikey bomb, and I will say that Mikey bomb is hot fire trash.
Yeah, it's hot garbage, man.
It's garbage.
It falls flat, man. He hits it, and you're like, wait, that's it? Like, he gets no...
It looks so bad.
Gets no spin on it. You know, there's...
Do you think it's that he doesn't do it right, or guys are sandbagging him? Because it kind of looked like Chase didn't get up high enough for him.
But every Mikey bomb that he's hit since he's been in New Japan...
What if everybody is sandbagging on him?
Maybe, but like, when I see a Blue Thunder bomb, I expect to see, you know, a Sami Zayn... catches them, gets the full rotation,
Jun Akiyama
drills them down. You know, some John Juris. You know,
some John Juris.
Get the some spin action then and drill them down.
You literally were Blue Thunder bombing guys, like in your league back in the day.
Yeah,
I
man.
would never let you do that to me.
You know, for you new listeners, if you don't know, you know, I had a little backyard wrestling career under the name John Juris. If you go on YouTube, type that in. No Jon Juris. You can see some of my matches.
What's mad funny is, like, you know, let's be clear here. Like, Jeremy's never like worked, but you've done some work in a ring,
right? I've had a little bit of training from a former FCW wrestler.
But you would by no means say I was a worker.
Oh no.
So it's funny, guys. Almost every time we take an out of state trip, we run into workers, and they know who Jeremy is, and they kind of mark, like, Jeremy will be like, "What's up, man?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you're John Juris."
Yeah, because some of the guys are now workers. You know, shout out to my boy Cam Cozone. I saw him in New York. Matt Nix, you guys, a lot of people know Matt Nix from Freelance Wrestling in the Chicago area.
It's just funny.
Matt
because,
Nix
like,
is one of the top guys in GBYWN.
Jeremy, what was the name of your company?
So my Fed was the Global Underground Wrestling. That was one of our names. We kind of bounced.
Bro, John Juris, the GUW legend.
Yeah, dude. Dude, it was some good times, man. And yeah, like we had the Global Backyard Wrestling Network, which pretty much the NWA for backyard wrestling. I mean, there was like territories in every state that was kind of governed under Cam, and this different body we had.
How about growing up? I had a backyard wrestling league, but it was just me and my stepbrother, and we had made these belts. We would go to like Salvation Army, and we'd get these like leather women's belts.
Yeah,
and then we would take not insulation. We would take insulation for not. I don't know how to explain it, but we would take this insulation and we'd make that into our plate. We'd cover it with tin foil, and then we would take cardboard and cut out like our medallions or whatever, like the
side
plates and the logos, and then we'd spray it gold. Well, I didn't know this, but like you can get high huffing, like specifically gold paint is specifically something that a lot of people use to huff, but like we stole it out of my dad's garage because we needed gold paint because we need to have gold belts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but we went classy. We had the silver tin foil covered with the gold cardboard. It was classy.
Yes.
But yeah, we were sitting in the in our closets spray painting, you know, and we were also at the same time being knuckleheads, getting into trouble. We were like shoplifting, doing lots of just bad, stupid stuff. So my parents decided to like do a raid. They did a raid of our room, and then like. One day we come home and they've got all this like paraphernalia, all this stuff, and then my dad's like, "What the hell? What are you using this for?" And then like they definitely thought we were huffing like paint, but we weren't. We weren't that bad. We were bad. Like we were smoking cigarettes and stuff, but we weren't that bad. We were stealing like liquor out of there, like we're stealing liquor out of the like liquor cabinet and then refilling the bottles with water to make it look like we hadn't stole nothing.
Damn.
We're doing stuff like that, but we weren't huffing. And so I had to a lot of shame, I had to like basically go back into my room and then come out with these title belts. And I was like, he's the North Florida champion and I'm the South Florida champion.
Like, Dad, we're getting ready to have a unification
We're
match.
going to unify them. We need the paint so we can have an undisputed title.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, that's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
But not as embarrassing as this Mikey Bomb, man.
Yeah, dude, that Mikey Bomb.
Jun Akiyama, bro, he needs to come over and teach this guy a thing or two about how to pull this move off. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
But with that being said, this match gets a recommend for me. I liked this match a lot. I think it's one of the best Chase Owens singles matches I've seen so far.
So where are you on the stars on this?
3.5.
Man, you're not 3.5 range. I was like 3.25 here.
I don't want to say 3. I was like 3 and 3.25, but I didn't want to say it because I don't want to be embarrassed. But because it seems a little high.
Yeah.
I think 3.5 to 3 and 3. 3.5 to 3 3/4. Wait, did you say 3 1/4?
No, 3. I'm in between 3 stars and 3.25.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm between 3.5 and 3 3/4.
Wow.
But I think the safe bet, because I'm not sure, we'll go 3.5. But I'll say I like this match a lot.
Yeah, I think I put a 3.25 on the grapple, but yeah, that's where I'm at on this thing. All right, so let's move on to our next matchup here. So we had tag action. We had the former IWGP champion Switchblade Jay White teaming up with Hikuleo to take on the team of Hiroki Goto and Taguchi. So of course this is setting up, previewing the Jay White and Goto one-on-one match that's going to be happening at Wrestling Hi No Kuni, and also a little preview of the Never Six-Man title match, which once again happened today on today's Road 2 show, with Taguchi and the MVPs taking on Hikuleo, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa.
Yeah, so one thing I would say about this match, even though even though Jay White dropped the title to Okada, he seems to still have retained a lot of his heat with the crowd, which is a good thing.
Yeah, he's done enough dastardly things to this crowd in the last year to make sure that they hate him no matter what.
And you know what that did? It helped get a lot of baby heat or baby face sympathy on Goto.
Yeah,
a lot.
And one thing I kind of like, just a little like character thing that I caught during Jay White's entrance, and commentary pointed out to it also. Like Jay White comes out, does his entrance, he does a little glance to his waist, like looking down, realizing that the belt's not kind of there. I like that.
I do too.
So yeah, those little things, if you pay attention, those little like character movements, little nuances that you catch from these guys during their entrances and movements and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hikuleo wasn't bad in this match either.
Dude, yes, Hikuleo, man, this guy, he's gotten tons better from the very first time we saw him when he first debuted in New Japan. I mean, this guy come back from injury. I feel like he's gotten into better shape since he's been back. I feel like he's kind of trimmed up a little bit. I'm sure he can get bigger, but I think he looks pretty good right now.
He looks good. There is something that I noticed that he did that I thought was really cool. So there was a spot where Taguchi went for a springboard flying hip attack, and he came off the ropes and he slipped a bit, so he didn't get enough distance to actually hit Hikuleo. And Hikuleo, like a pro, like an old wily vet, just moves out of the way, making it look as though he was actively just trying to avoid the move altogether, and then immediately picked up Taguchi. So he really covered that botch really well.
Grizzled young vet.
Grizzled, he's the most grizzled young vet in the game today.
But yeah, dude,
and he does it for this business that he loves.
I think Hikuleo could. I think he's got something, man.
Bro,
give him a couple of years. I think he can be a main eventer.
I used to say the same thing about Baron Corbin. Yeah, that's one of my bad takes.
Yeah, it's easy to think a guy can do good when he's only doing like 30-second squashes every week.
Bro, when I saw Baron Corbin in NXT for the first time, I was like, bro, this guy's gonna be like Diesel. This guy's gonna be a Kevin Nash type.
Yeah.
But I thought Hikuleo, even his brawling on the outside was really good. But the real story here was Goto and White. They had some great sequences against one another, trading Saito suplexes. White countering attempts at the Ushigoroshi. Mm-hmm. I really dug what they were doing out there.
Yeah, they were doing some great stuff out there. So
and they got me excited for the first time in a while in a Goto match.
Yeah, dude. I mean, in the crowd, like you mentioned earlier, like the crowd was behind Goto because they hated Jay so much.
Yeah,
and wanted to see Goto get a win here. So towards the end, Goto is fighting back with clotheslines, and Gato distracts Goto, and then White tries to take advantage, but Goto hits the Ushigoroshi, and he does one for Hikuleo also, and then he follows up with the GTR on Hikuleo and gets the win for the team. So Goto and Taguchi get the win over Jay White and Hikuleo, giving Goto some momentum heading into Wrestling Hi No Kuni.
Yes, absolutely. So nothing too spectacular here, but it built very well to Goto and White with all their hot exchanges, and I'm actually looking forward to that match. This is the most I've looked forward to a Goto match since, I gotta say, like, I wanted to say the Taichi match, but and I know he had the match with Will Ospreay, but I feel like this is the most invested I've been in him since, like, the G1.
Yeah.
Also, funny story, my brother, who's been getting into New Japan Pro Wrestling, he was like, how many G1s have there been? I was like, oh man, well, there's been like 28 G1s, and then before that there was like 14, tournaments that preceded it in New Japan, and that derives from the World's Strongest League from back in old JWA. Like, this goes way, 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 way back. And he's like, okay. He's like, yeah, I've been watching all the Jay White matches from last year, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, they're not very good. He's like, it's the same thing every time, man. He's like, they get pushed into red shoes. He hits him with the low blow. Then he hits him with the finisher. This guy is not very good. And I was like, bro, why are you doing this? Like, why are you... Just ask me what you should be watching from now on. Like,
yeah, your brother has been just, like, going all over the place.
Yeah, he's all over the place. I was like, bro, you're in the wrong block. Could you imagine, like, not knowing and you're just watching A block from last year when you got the B block
just sitting there?
Oh my God. Yeah.
But so let's move on to the next matchup here.
The main event?
Nope, not the
main
main
event.
Yeah, we got one of those.
I'm so used to it being the main event because of the entire Road 2 shows. Yeah.
We had the Chaos LIJ, one of the Chaos LIJ matches that we were talking about. We have Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, Sho, and Yo taking on Naito, Evil, Bushi, Sanada, and Shingo. And dude, once again, this match delivered. It was freaking awesome. I love the sequences.
You never get a bad LIJ versus Chaos multi-man. You just don't.
Yeah.
Even when they're like not the best, they're still really good.
Yeah, I just love the sequence with Evil and Ishii, dude. There's trading forearms for so long, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
There was a moment where I was like, they don't look like they're really laying into these forearms too much. Like, they're kind of going soft, but then they just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going, and then it was building and building, and then they were getting harder and harder. And I was like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. I take it back.
Yeah, dude, that was just awesome. And of course, they did the shoulder block, tackle test, try to knock each other down, and dude. Yeah, the way that Evil and Ishii are going, like, I'm all, hyped up to see the one-on-one match coming up on Dantaku.
Yep, and, we also got good exchanges between Yo and Shingo to start off the match, but a big portion of the match was Okada and Sanada going at it, which was, I think that they have some of the best sequences in the match as well. Also, Sho and Shingo, obviously, like, that has just been continuing on and on.
You know what else I'm really liking from these multi-man matches? The interactions with Okada and Shingo.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they can't keep Shingo at Junior for much longer.
Bro, Shingo is the freaking man, dude.
Dude, I literally, like, love Shingo more and more after every single match he's in. When he's in the ring, like, he demands your attention, and he's just so smooth, so brutal. Lariats are killer, strikes are killer, the facial expressions are great, and he's got going in there toe-to-toe with guys like Okada and Ishii and Goto, and I'm just like, dude, I want to see Shingo versus Okada for the title so badly. Yeah, dude, I'm all in on Shingo as a heavyweight.
I am too. I really, really like this. The match went a bit long for an undercard multi-man. It went a little over 16 minutes, but it flew by. Never slowed down. Naito and Yoshihashi also, basically closed out the match. Once Naito and Yoshihashi got into the ring, it was kind of obvious at that point how it was going to end. We got a Destino and, 1, 2, 3 pretty much. Although Yoshihashi did get a sequence where he hit that beautiful lariat that he hits and almost got pinfall.
Hit that Western lariat. Yeah. I thought Yoshihashi looked pretty good in this match also. Yeah, this was overall, a very great matchup. And like we mentioned, man, these LIJ Chaos matches always deliver.
The LIJ Roppongi 3K sequences have been good enough to actually get me excited for their upcoming tag title match in a division that we've had a lot of criticisms about.
Yeah. And that match, that's the main event of the Road to show. I think that's on the 24th. So they're the main event. They're going to get time. So this could be the best Roppongi 3K LIJ junior tag match that we get.
Absolutely.
So moving on, we have the semi-main event match of the night. The IWGP U.S. Champion Juice Robinson taking on the Rogue General of the Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale. Big title defense here for Juice, and of course, going into this match, one of the key points, one of the key story points here was Juice saying he wants to body slam Bad Luck Fale, and Fale is being there's no way that Juice is going to be able to slam me. So of course, as soon as the bell rings, Juice, Fale, attacks before the bell and takes control, but then Juice fights back, and immediately he looks to power slam Fale, and of course, ain't happening at the beginning. And that was pretty much the whole story of the match. I mean, this was your classic big man versus little man matchup where the smaller man is trying his best to get some offense and to take out the bigger man. And it all built, it built up to the crescendo moment of the match where Juice was finally able to body slam Fale.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a great job here. I gotta tell you, this match was good.
Yeah,
this match was good, man. I was really loathing the idea of seeing Juice paired up with Fale. Fale is such a divisive character because there's sometimes we put trust in him and faith, and I'm like, okay, it's Fale. He plays his role so well. When he shows up, he really shows up, and this, and I'll give a prediction. I'll say a match with him is gonna be good, and then it'll bomb, and then I'm like, I should have known it's Fale. But then he'll turn around and turn out something great, and I think he did a great job here in this match. He had his working boots on. This is the best he's looked since the match he had with Okada earlier in the year, which that's two pretty good matches out of Fale. Plus the match with Will Ospreay earlier during the New Japan Cup was also very good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Fale's turning out he's turned out a good body of work this year.
Yeah, I just want everybody to be clear. This is a good match, but it's definitely it's not like a match of the year contender or match of the month contender. But like you were mentioning earlier with the Chase and Mikey Nichols match, this match was another great storytelling match.
Yeah,
it wasn't your normal quote unquote New Japan house style match. This was again a similar kind of southern style, territory style.
I wouldn't call this a territory match. You know what this reminded me of? A classic WWE type match.
I guess that's what I meant. Yeah, more of old school,
like an old school sports entertainment. You could easily see something like this in the Philadelphia Spectrum or the Los Angeles where they used to go, the LA Sports Arena.
Yeah. But I gotta say, man, I think Juice is so underrated. I think this guy is so great, and I don't think enough people talk about how great Juice Robinson is. His selling in this match was awesome, and it made Fale look like a monster, and it helped you got invested and wanted you to see Juice come back. And then when he was on the offense, he was fired up, he was intense, and you could get behind this guy. Dude, Juice is so good.
His selling was great in this match. Really, really great. I liked, for instance, as an example, how good it was. At one point, after getting his back worked over extensively by Fale, which, by the way, great psychology. The fact that this man's trying to body slam you, he needs his lower back, so you attack the back. That's just good. That's just good psychology. That's good storytelling. Juice goes back on the offensive, and he's selling his back. He hits a cannonball in the corner on Fale, and then immediately falls over and sells the back.
Yes.
And then he's unable to follow up on it, which is so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and towards the end, they had a great spot where Fale is looking for the bad luck fall.
Well, before that, the grenade.
That's right. Yeah, he hit the grenade.
He hits the grenade on Juice, and I was like, oh my god, they took the belt. I bid on it, bro. I was like, they took the belt off Juice, and then he kicks out of the grenade, and then Bad Luck Fale looks for the Bad Luck fall.
Yeah, and that spot was really good because literally it looked like Juice was about to come down for the Bad Luck fall, and that was going to be it. But Juice is able to slip out the Bad Luck fall. He hits a beautiful left hand of God, goes to the top, hits a high cross, another left hand of God, and then he finally hits the big body slam on Juice. Crowd's going crazy, and he follows up with the Pulp Friction. 1, 2, 3, puts the Rogue General away, and Juice is still your IWGP US Champion.
Third defense.
Building some momentum.
Yep. So, so hopefully we've gotten to a point where Juice will start to have more of a credible U.S. title run, and they'll put him in the right spot, on the card to kind of show that off. Match had really good heat just all throughout. The crowd was really into Juice. Lots of sympathy on him as well. Even when the crowd got quiet, it was more so due to the fact that they're being respectful and very tuned in and intensive. You can kind of tell when a crowd dies. This crowd never died, even when they got quiet. They were tuned into everything that was happening. Mm-hmm. They bit at all the parts where they're supposed to bite. They popped for all the stuff. I just thought this match was really, 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 really good. I'm impressed with both guys. Hats off to them. Congratulations.
Yeah, solid defense there for Juice.
3 3/4, bro.
I think I was 3.5 on this one.
3 3/4, bro.
Yeah, this was a solid outing right here. Question. Let's see. We have a question about this matchup from our boy Muzza. He says, "Who do you see challenging Juice for the U.S. belt next?" The only name I can think of is Goto.
That's a possibility. Who would you like to see challenge?
Well, I feel like the next challenger, I feel is probably going to come from the Ring of Honor side, because we're getting ready to go into the Best of the Super Juniors tour, and I think that's the same time as the War of the Worlds tour, so I believe Juice is going to be on the War of the Worlds tour, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I could see, Juice defending against, like a Bully Ray.
Ooh, no.
Or, like a Silas Young, or a Shane Taylor from the Ring of Honor side.
I almost thought about, what about, Kenny King?
Yeah,
but he's in the title picture.
Yeah. But, there are going to be some New Japan guys on the World Tour. Goto is going to be one of those guys, so they could do Juice and Goto. They could do, Juice and Evil, I think would be a good one to do on a Ring of Honor show. I think potentially one of those guys, either from the New Japan side, probably Evil or Goto. From the Ring of Honor side, I could see, one of the dishonorable heel guys, either Bully Ray, Shane Taylor, or Silas Young.
That makes sense to me. On the New Japan side, I think you said Evil or Goto.
Yeah.
Those are possibilities. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone that we're, kind of forgetting. Because Taichi pretty much has a never shot lined up.
Mm. I mean, the other guy that's been picking up singles wins now is Mikey Nichols. And even though they've been kind of teaming together, Nichols is Chaos and Juice is Sekigun, or / Team Taguchi Japan, wherever you want to kind of put him in. So they could do Nichols versus Juice, I guess.
Let's get this Hikuleo run going. No, let's get this. Not Hikuleo. What's his face? Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. Not Tama. What am I? Hinare. No, that's not realistic. You know what is a possibility, though? If he wins his match with Evil, what about Ishii?
That is a possibility, especially Ishii's had some history with the U.S. title, being in the finals of the tournament against Kenny Omega to determine the first U.S. champion. And Ishii, I think, is a guy I think Juice could beat. and it would be a great win for Juice and help establish Juice as a top guy and help establish the U.S. title as, a legitimate title in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Absolutely. So that is going to bring us from the semi-main event into the big one, the one that the whole world's been waiting for with bated breath. The main event, Kota Ibushi defending the IWGP Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against the reigning Rev Pro Undisputed British Heavyweight Champion, Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre time. And man, this was an excellent main event. I gotta say, I love the chemistry between Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. I feel like their styles just mesh so well with the heavy striker in Kota Ibushi, and then you have the heavy submission, grapple heavy guy in Zack Sabre Jr. I think those styles just clash so well and create a masterpiece every time these guys step in the ring. And this match was just epic.
Yeah, one thing I like about it is you have two guys that have such distinct styles. Kota Ibushi with his, K1 level striking ability and his, just athleticism, just, the dives and the flips and everything of that nature, kind of going up against this technical, the technical acumen of Zack Sabre Jr. and all of his catch style, just the groundwork. And neither of these guys deviating from what brought them to the dance, but just working their very distinct styles against one another. And that has always been the story of their matches, going back to their first meetup a few years ago at the G1 Climax, that, it's always the story of who can work their game better than the other guy. Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, whoever can pull the other guy into their game and into their world usually is the guy that walks away with his hand raised. And again, this match did not disappoint.
Right, and with that, it was a little bit of a different tale here because this match ultimately was a Zack Sabre match, and Zack was catching Ibushi in submissions left and right, and really had Ibushi scrambling in the beginning and middle of this matchup here. But eventually, Ibushi was able to overcome that.
Well, no, I don't think that deflects from what I was saying, because if you think about it, Kota Ibushi wasn't trying to play Zack's game. Right. The same way that like a stand-up MMA fighter tries to sprawl and brawl, not go to the ground with like a great jiu-jitsu fighter. That's kind of the whole thing there. Every time he got to the ground, he's either looking to get to the ropes or he's not looking to grapple with Zack Sabre.
Right.
Actually, where I think that Zack messed up was Zack got dragged into Kota Ibushi's game.
Right. There are several moments where Sabre would try to go toe-to-toe with Ibushi and strike. Sabre does have some great European uppercuts, but they were no match for Ibushi's chops and palm strikes. And there was just one chop where he chopped him right in the middle of that bird chest and just leveled Sabre.
Some of the great stuff about this match, early on, very competitive between the two, but Zack just starts to work over Ibushi's neck. And as you know, Ibushi, has had a broken neck in the past.
He has that surgically repaired neck.
And it wasn't like Zack was just working over Ibushi for super extended periods of time, but every time he would get the offensive, he would target that neck, which was really, really great. But what I liked about it was Ibushi got plenty of, chances at offense on his own. Even though it was definitely the Zack match, it wasn't like the long Zack match where it's all nothing but,
right.
him working holds. But there was something in this match, though, that I saw that I didn't like. There was a point where he locked up a triangle choke. And, I mean, he really locked it up. I mean, he had his foot behind behind the back of his other knee. I mean, it was locked as deep as you could get. And instead of, trying to utilize that to tap out Kota Ibushi, he let go and then transitioned to a double armbar, which I understand some of the time the storyline reasons and the psychology reasons why he does a lot of these submission transitions, but this was like a you're about to be finished type of submission, and then he just let it go for no good reason. That kind of took me a little bit out of the match. That's just my
I remember you made that comment when we were watching it, and I said to you, I think that's a thing where you being a diehard MMA guy and having an MMA experience, you see stuff like that and you catch that. But I think to the normal pro wrestling fan who doesn't watch MMA or is not as smart on MMA, like that's the kind of something they kind of would miss or not really catch.
Yeah, but you know what? I also think though, fans are becoming more and more educated, especially the crowd in Japan. They're a very educated crowd. I mean, you're talking about a fan base that, you know, has grown up watching Pride and watching Pancrase and, you know, all these other MMA, shoot style promotions. They kind of know about this stuff. So I was a little surprised. It's just a little gripe I had.
Right.
But
dude, there was one counter I loved here towards the beginning of the match, where Kota is going for the Kamigoye, but Sabre counters and turns it into a butterfly lock.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Way better than Yoshihashi's.
So,
He had that thing locked in
we were
right.
watching it, and you were like, that's a real butterfly lock.
Yes, he had that thing locked in right, cranked on the neck. Like, that looked like it could be a finish.
There was a part in the match that was really funny where Kevin Kelly said that Zack Sabre Jr. is the master of the dark art of catch wrestling.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like, catch wrestling is pretty much considered like an honorable and like clean style of combat, but like the way Zack does it, he's just a total dick and just really brutal and just nasty with the stuff he does. So it's like everything Kevin was saying was very apt for this match. But what really turned the tide of the match was towards the end where Zack just continued to squeeze and work on Ibushi's neck, and then Murder Kota came out.
Yes, dude. I felt like this was Kota Ibushi like turning Super Saiyan. Like, he got hit and he just got angry and just like, dude, just took it to the next level.
Yeah, I wanted to make a joke about what was it that Gohan said when he turned Super Saiyan 2 for the first time?
I'm blanking right now. It's been a while since I've seen that episode.
He was just like, stop it!
When he was fighting Cell.
Or he's like, you're not gonna hurt my friends! Like, yeah, he just freaks out. That's like what Kota Ibushi does. But the slap battle towards the end of the match was so aggressive, like way more aggressive than usual. And I think that was awesome because it's so visceral and so visual, and it played into the story that we're describing where like Kota Ibushi starts working his game and Zack obliges and starts trying to strike with Kota Ibushi.
Right. It's like Zack, he kind of got worried. He got flustered. He's like, all right, this guy's firing up. Like, I can't keep up with him. I gotta do something. I gotta do something.
Here's the thing too, is like it's interesting because Zack can strike.
Yes.
He can strike, but he's punching above his weight is basically the story. So like he'll hit guys with strikes and they'll be solid, they'll be clean. He doesn't have the heavyweight power to really put them away, and every time he gets hit, he's so frail and so brittle. And like that was always the story in like those Walter matches and some of the other heavyweights he's wrestling. That like they tell that story so great with him and Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, and to Zack's credit, he sells strikes so well.
Yeah,
which makes it look even better, especially those Walter matches.
I'm gonna do my Dave Meltzer here. Yeah.
The one thing
Dave, Dave just cuts people off. He's like, yeah, and then he moves on with what he's saying and just totally disregards the like Brian
or Garrett. Yeah. But dude, the one thing though that I hate about Sabre's selling is when it comes to clotheslines or lariats,
because he just rolls over.
Like every time the clothesline hits him like in the middle of his stomach, or like
he just falls straight back and has his like feet up.
And it just looks awkward every time. I'm like,
I kind of like it. I don't. I like when wrestling just kind of looks not
rigid and rough.
It doesn't always look choreographed.
That, but dude, there's when somebody hits a lariat clean,
you want them to go up in the air and fly.
Yes, I want them to do the crazy like Kota bump, lay on their neck, off the lariat. But besides that, Sabre selling is great and was great in this match.
Well, to kind of wrap this up, these guys had a hell of a finishing sequence.
Sabre, Kota Ibushi tries to channel his inner Shinsuke Nakamura, goes for a Bomaye, but Sabre moves out the way and cradles him for a near fall.
Yep.
Ibushi cuts him off with a head kick. He hits the last ride, which gets a near fall. Sabre comes back and counters into the octopus hole, but Ibushi escapes with a go to sleep and follows it up with another knee, that Kamigoye. 1, 2, 3. Kota Ibushi successfully defends the IWGP IC title.
Yep, and not only that, Prior to the sequence you were talking about, they had a bunch of exchanges of holds and cradles and pin attempts and submissions. This was really like top level stuff. I could see where some people might criticize this match as being an extended version of the shorter matches they've had in the G1 that we've seen in the past, with a lot more of the Zack stuff kind of meandering in the middle. But overall, that didn't really take away from the match too much for me, because I felt like it was building towards the end. And in a main event spot, I thought this was great. I do kind of feel like they still have a better match than them. This didn't live up to my high, lofty expectations, meaning it didn't, quite reach the same levels as their match from the G1 Climax this past year. With that being said, these guys have never had anything that was below 4 stars. These guys have had nothing but great matches, and I went 4.5 on this.
Yeah, I also
one of the best matches of the year so far.
Yeah, I also went 4.5. I was very high on this main event, and I thought this tapped off what was a great show and easy show to watch.
Easy show to watch, really good show, man.
And there's a lot of interesting post matchup stuff we got to talk about. So, Ibushi is celebrating, and then out comes Tetsuya Naito. He comes out and, says, he would like to apply to be the challenger for the IC title. He looks at the back, says, nobody else is coming out. He's like, what do you say? And Ibushi tells them to shut up, tranquilo. And he says, see, and accepts the challenge. So, at some point, we're going to get another Naito versus Ibushi IC title match. Then we get the confetti, big celebration. We get Ibushi. He goes to the back and he's doing his post-match promo. They got the beer set up there. He's like, is this ginger ale? And they're like, no, it's not ginger ale. He's like, yes, certainly this is ginger ale. He's like, let's all cheer. They're like, that's not ginger ale. He's like, yes, it is. And he shotguns.
Bro, he shotgunned the crap out of it.
Yeah. And then some other...
He was like a freshman at a freaking, what's it called? I ruined the joke. At a sorority party or a fraternity party, just chug, chug, chug. He freaking killed that crap.
Yeah, and then in his also in his comments, he said, he was asking them, he's like, what am I doing the rest of this tour? I'm not booked. He's like, I want to fight Naito every night. Put me in there in Naito. And so later on in the news, I'll kind of go over some of the changes we have to the Dontaku tour with Ibushi wanting to get in there with Naito.
Now, I got to tell you, I know we're going to talk about it here, but before we do, I just got to say, when I saw Naito come out to challenge for this title, I said, no! Oh, my God. Why? Stay away.
Yeah, so we got some questions about that. One thing I want to point out before we get into those questions, we also had a tweeted statement from Zack Sabre Jr. saying, Koda-kun, we made the right choice, mate.
Well, let's discuss that, but I want to, because we're probably not going to talk about the show, I just want to say one last thing about it. They drew 4,731 fans to the Aichi Prefectural Gym, which is one of the highest drawing cards that they've done in the past 3 years, which means New Japan's still hot and they're still doing good business in Nagoya.
All the numbers I've been seeing, New Japan, the business in Japan is still hot.
Well, you know why? It's because they got rid of all those Western elements. Thank God. Freaking AEW chumps.
Oh, my gosh.
And good riddance, too.
Man's wildin'. All right, so let's get into these questions. First question comes from Reddit user JQNCG. And he says, the inevitable, what the hell are they doing with Naito?
Well, that is a great question. I think we should also address Jai Bryant. I think we should address all three of these questions at the same time. So, Muzza44 asked us, why are they going back to Naito versus Ibushi? You would think Naito would want to move on from that belt. And Jai Bryant sent in a question. He says, do you see Naito losing to Ibushi for a 4th time in a row? So what the hell are they doing with Naito? Don't you think Naito should move on from the belt? And is this man going to take a 4th loss in a row?
Yeah, this is a very interesting development because, once...
Oh, you know what? But we need to just... I apologize. We need to... Let's address those, but let's talk about that Koda-kun, we made the right choice, mate, tweet.
Okay.
So, I thought that was awesome. You know, it was very publicized that Zack Sabre Jr. as well as Kota Ibushi took place in the WWE Cruiserweight Classic. What year was that?
2016.
2016. So we're almost 3 years removed from that. And WWE made a very, very large play to try to sign both of these guys. They both made it to the semifinals of the tournament, getting knocked out in the semifinals. And, you know, the whole reason that they were both knocked out was due to the fact that neither of them were going to sign with WWE. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, both guys continue their careers. They end up working independents in their country, for Zack Sabre here in the States as well as in Japan, and then Kota Ibushi over in Japan, some in the States. And then both of these guys have now officially, like, they're fully signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Zack last year, Kota this just recently, and you saw that, like, you saw the...
Yeah, I will say, I failed to mention in his post-match promo in the ring, he announced to the crowd, you know, I belong to New Japan.
Yeah, I saw him make a statement about the term length of how long he's going to be with New Japan. He said, until I die, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, the term is until I die.
And I know there was a free press conference up on New Japan World where, you know, Ibushi signed his deal, and he was, you know, they had the handshake. They did the Triple H handshake picture with him and Kadani.
That's where he said this statement, where he's like, the length of the term of my contract is until I stop breathing. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's all in. All in. But that's crazy. But Zack Sabre was like, man, we made the right choice, mate.
Could you imagine if Sabre and Ibushi signed? Like, there's no telling what the heck they would be doing right now.
You know, it kind of depends on the timing, because if they would have signed, like, maybe, say, within the past year, maybe we'd see them on Raw, kind of like how we're seeing Ricochet right now take on Bobby Roode.
Robert
Roode. Is he Robert Roode now?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Old school.
Yeah, I'm like...
Throwing it back.
Raw is turning into Impact.
Yeah. But, you know, I feel like if they would have signed in 2016, that's not where we would have seen these guys. You know, we would have seen them in the 205 Live wrestling.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were in the CWC, so I'm sure at that time...
Wrestling Arya Daivari.
The 205 legend.
Wrestling, you know...
Mike Kanellis.
Enzo Amore, bro.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have had, you know, Ibushi putting over Enzo.
And look at these guys. They're top stars in one of the top companies in the world. They got all the options at their, you know, fingertips. Yeah, they made the right choice.
Yeah.
They made the right choice.
All right, so let's address these questions. So, what the hell are they doing with Naito? Why are they going back to Naito Ibushi? And, you know, do we see Naito losing to Ibushi for a fourth time in a row? And, you know, after Ibushi beat Naito at the G1 Supercard, I'm like, okay, he beat Naito. He has the white strap like his heroes, Tanahashi and Nakamura. We're going to get this Ibushi IC run. Naito is going to rebound. He's going to, you know, kind of lay low and then eventually get into the G1 and fire up, win the G1, eventually get in the heavyweight title picture. Or who knows, maybe he challenged the Minion. Like, he's getting back in the heavyweight title picture. But now comes out, we're getting this Ibushi Naito match again.
Here's the thing. You know, let's say hypothetically Naito wins the IC belt back. It's not a bad spot to be in. It's not at all. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, the IC belt is the second most prestigious title in the company, and I feel like it's, you know, when you talk about secondary titles, they're secondary titles and they're secondary titles, and almost no secondary title in any company today is treated as prestigiously or with as much like reverence and respect as the IWGP IC title. So if that's where they slot him, and that's where they want him to be going into, say, the G1 Climax, that's fine. You know, if that's how they see him, that's not a bad spot. The thing is, the fans have been waiting for years now.
Yeah, dude.
For the coronation of Tetsuya Naito. And it's like, I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, because, I mean, you put him in a tough spot here. Because more than likely, if he wins the IC title, he's probably not winning the G1, and he's probably not winning the belt this year or at Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, you know, this could also play into the storyline that they were trying to play up earlier in the year.
Wanted him to have win both belts.
Well, at least have the IC title and challenge for the IWGP title.
Yeah.
Also, we've had questions ourselves. We're starting to look forward. Well, what do we do at Dominion? What does Naito do? What's his next step? And we didn't really have a solid answer for that. Well, now, given that we already have the dates for most of the tours, we already know I think it's unlikely that we're going to see these guys wrestle before Dominion. Am I wrong?
Yeah, they're not wrestling in a one-on-one match. The
only thing I could see them potentially doing is like maybe they wrestle each other at like Best of the Super Junior finals.
Yeah. Let me pull up right now the changes to the Dontaku tour instead of waiting for the news, since we're kind of talking about this stuff.
Because they're not wrestling
right
at
now.
Dontaku, right?
No. So this is what's the changes that are happening. So on April 22nd in Korakuen, Ibushi will be teaming with Ishii, Okada, and Roppongi 3K to take on LIJ. That's going to be fire.
Yeah.
Then on April 26th, we have a 6-man, Ibushi, Ishii, and Okada.
Oh, wow.
Against Naito, Evil, and Sonata. And then on May 3rd and May 4th, we have 2 6-man tags. It's going to be Ibushi and Roppongi 3K against Naito and Bushi and Shingo, both nights. So yeah, they're not.
So they're building towards it.
They're not wrestling 1-on-1, but they are building toward it.
Well, it would make sense for them to potentially do that as a partial headliner for the Best of the Super Junior finals, because they got it. They're going to be at Sumo Hall, right? Mm-hmm. That I feel like you can't hold off all the way to Dominion. That's in June, so probably in May, probably at Best of Super Juniors. And you know what? They'll probably be on that tour.
Yeah,
that's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah, teaming with like Bushi and Shingo in the off nights.
And Super Juniors is going to be a big show this year. Like, the finals is going to be a big, big show. So that makes a lot of sense that's probably what they'll do. I hadn't thought about it till now.
Yeah.
But
the result is like you got Ibushi on this roll now with the IC. He's signed. You got him belted up, and he's cooking. But I don't want Ibushi to lose right now. But I don't think Naito should lose this match either. Like Jai Bryan saying here, this would be the 4th time in a row.
Yeah, I think
can Naito survive this loss?
Yeah, I think the last time he beat him, Ibushi beat Naito in the G1, right?
Yeah.
So that was the first time, and then in the New Japan Cup this past couple months ago, he won in the first round, and then again at the MSG show. So that's and each time that they've been in a match with one another, high stakes, high stakes, because the Naito Ibushi match was a match that kind of offset any chance for Naito to potentially win the G1. It knocked out Naito from the New Japan Cup, and then he beat him on the big stage for the belt in New York. So, and every single time we've been torn, and every single time it's been a tough spot, and every single time the match has been great. So it's really difficult, because part of me is like, man, I love watching these guys wrestle. I'm so hyped for the match, and every time I see a new matchup between them, I'm like, ooh, this one's gonna be better than the last one.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, God, what do you do? I kind of was hoping that from a booking standpoint they'd move past this, and then maybe bring them back together at a later date, way later.
Maybe in the G1.
Yeah, or I don't know, maybe even later than that.
Yeah.
But this is what we're getting, so I don't know what to think. It's like, okay, so you could have Naito lose, and then you could get him prepared for a G1 run, and then throw the dice where you may, or you could have Naito win the belt because Ibushi's already had a successful defense, and maybe get the belt off Ibushi, get him prepared for the G1. I don't think it's the end of the world either way. My whole thing is like, Ibushi just re-signed or just signed. Mm-hmm. We're off to the races with Ibushi.
Yeah.
They're going with this guy. What about Naito? We've been waiting and waiting, and you know what? All the people who cover New Japan, all the people who write about it, all the podcasters, anyone with opinion is always like, give him time, just have some patience. But we've been hearing it for years and years now, and I'm starting to be like, yo, it's getting a little crazy now, and it's like, you can only do this for so long before you actually hurt the guy's credibility.
Yeah, I mean, I feel at this point, Naito needs to go into Raven mode. What about me? What about Naito?
Yeah.
I had a question for all the LIJ fans, and I would love their feedback. Maybe I'll do a Twitter poll. But, like, what do you want to see here? Like, would you rather see Naito win and get the IC belt again, or would you rather him lose, hoping that he wins the G1? I would love to know that. So I'm going to put a poll up on the Twitter and get some feedback from you LIJ fans or just New Japan fans in general. What do you guys want to see happen here in this situation for Naito? Because this is a tough spot for Naito to be in.
Yep, and it's a tough spot for us as the fans to be in as well, because we don't know what to expect and we don't know what to think, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen here, man.
Yeah. All right, well, that wraps up our coverage on Sengoku Lord. So we have a couple big matches coming up next week along with a big show. So on the Road to Wrestling Dontaku, April 24th, that is Liger's 30th anniversary match. We have Taguchi, Tiger Mask, and Liger taking on the team of Desperado, Kanemaru, and Suzuki.
The funny thing is it's not really Liger's 30th anniversary. It's the 30th anniversary of the Liger character.
Right.
It's like, it's just so funny how they keep kayfabe up. Like, 30 years of Liger. But it's like, yeah, but what about, Kiji Yamada? Like,
never mind that.
Never mind that, yeah. But yeah, we talked about this earlier, the heat between Liger and Suzuki. He's got a lot of history with Desperado and Kanemaru as well. And, we got him here teaming with longtime tag team partner Tiger Mask 4 as well as the coach, Taguchi.
So yeah, man, who do you think is going to walk with a W here?
Oh, I'm going with Liger. Do you think they're going to try to get heat and set up something for the future with him and Suzuki?
I don't know, man. It's just like, you look at that team, I see 3 juniors, and then I see Suzuki with 2 juniors.
But don't you feel like Liger could easily pick up a win over
Desperado or Kanemaru?
Or
Yeah, I do.
I'm gonna go with Liger just because it's not his retirement match. You know what I'm saying? It's not him going out on his shield. So for me, that's just gonna be my guess.
All right, I'm gonna go with Suzuki-gun winning.
Ooh,
getting the heat.
Hot take.
Getting the heat to set up a one-on-one match. Then the other big match that we have on the Road to Wrestling Dontaku tour on April 26th, Roppongi 3K will be defending their IWGP Junior Tag titles against Shingo and Bushi.
I don't have too much to say about this because it's a match we've seen many times. Oh my god. Live audio, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at the screen. That's Bray Wyatt, right?
Yes.
Oh, what? Okay, so we're looking at the screen. I can't hear the noise, but he's wearing a sweater and some khakis, and it says something about a fun house.
It looks like a Blue's Clues setup.
Yeah, it looks like the Pee Wee Herman show. Yo, this is some wacky crap. Yo, that guy looks like he lost a lot of weight, by the way. Either that or this red sweater is super slimming.
He looks like he lost weight.
Bro, they better be careful. They're about to move him into some Bo Dallas territory. Ruin this man forever.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, look at him.
Dude, yeah.
He's doing something crazy. Oh
my god! I can't wait to hear what the One Nation boys are going to say about this.
Yeah, you guys got to check out One Nation Radio for coverage of this. Also, Ricky and Clive wrestling show from Scotland. Ah, man, this stuff's distracting, man. Anyways, this is a match we've seen many times. Like I said earlier in the show, with all the multi-man matches that they've been having and all the great interactions between these two teams, I'm nothing but excited for it. It's just another wrinkle in a long-standing feud between them, and I think it's going to be great to see Shingo and Sho go at it once again, and maybe set up some future storylines for the Best of the Super Juniors. You got a prediction on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Roppongi 3K retaining and kind of riding that wave and just refocusing those guys at the top of the junior tag division. I think Shingo has very good chances of winning the Best of the Super Junior and potentially even winning the junior title So I don't think they want to put the tag titles back on him. I think they're going to focus on Shingo as a singles after this. So I'm going with Roppongi 3K.
I really don't have too much of a opinion one way or the other about which team will win, but I'll just ride with you. I think you laid out some good points there, and Roppongi 3K is the likely winner here.
All right, so now let's move on to Wrestling Hi No Kuni, which will be happening next Monday, April 29th. We'll go down the full card, give our predictions here. So the opening contest is a 6-man tag. We got Ren Narita, Shota Umino teaming up with Tomioka Hanma to take on Yamura, Tsuji, and Toa Hanare.
So this should be good. We've got all the young lions in here as well as Hanma and Hanare. We didn't really talk about it too much on the show, but did we ever discuss the fact that what was the young lion that left?
Oh, Kanemitsu?
Yeah, did we talk about that in the show?
Yeah, it was during the news section, whatever the week that was.
Yeah, so Kanemitsu's gone, and it almost feels like, who was the young guy from K-Dojo? We haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, yeah, Ayato Yoshida.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Yoshida in a while.
Yeah.
Like, right now, aside from the LA Dojo, are these the only young lions in New Japan?
The only active young lions. I mean, I've been looking out in the crowd and seeing some other guys that have been doing young lion duties, but they haven't had official matches yet. Interesting.
So, yeah, we got a 6-man tag here. This should be pretty standard. I'm going to go with the Hanma, Umino, Narita team just, due to seniority.
Yeah, also going with that team as well.
The second match of the card, we've got what looks to be a really fun match. We got Jeff Cobb teaming up with Yoshihashi, Jushin Thunder Liger, Tiger Mask, and Ryusuke Taguchi, taking on the team of Suzuki-gun, Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, El Desperado, and Taka Michinoku.
Yeah, so Jeff Cobb is joining the tour. Taichi's had some, very disparaging things to say about Mr. Cobb, calling him Jeff Hogg and Jeff Piglet, talking about his pig
Savage.
Talking about his pig body and his pig face. And
he's fat shaming him, bro.
Yeah, he is.
Wow. Here's the thing. You might have had a really great point in saying that they might still be building up to a Liger Suzuki deal, and I feel like if we're gonna get Kishin Liger, it probably won't have already happened up to this point.
Right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe Suzuki-gun's gonna beat Liger at his 30th. He likes to put people over. You know what? I'm gonna ride with you. Minoru Suzuki is beating Liger and his team during the 30th anniversary, and this is going to lead to an eventual singles match between Liger and Suzuki, hopefully.
Yeah, so who do you think is going to get the win on this match?
I will take the champions team, Jeff Cobb, Yoshihashi, and the crew.
Yeah, looking at the teams, I see Taka Michinoku eating a tour of the islands.
It's really inconsequential, to be honest with you. Taichi could easily pick up a win here. I do feel like either Jeff Cobb or Taichi is going to go over just to set up dominance for the build for their match. But ultimately, they've got pin eaters on both sides, so it could go either way.
Yep, and then the third match of the night, we have the dream team of Will Ospreay and Dragon Lee taking on Hikuleo and Taiji Ishimori.
This should be Dragon Lee and Will Ospreay, right? Is there any scenario where you see these guys losing?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Hikuleo's getting pinned.
But Hikuleo's the biggest guy in the match, and these are all juniors.
I see Ospreay hitting an Oz cutter on Hikuleo.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fourth match of the night. Woo! We got the Bullet Club killer, Mikey Nichols, the Largo Loop legend, taking on Bad Luck Fale. What are we looking at here?
So you know what? I actually think we might get a Heyman special here. Because the fifth match is Juice Robinson versus Chase. And this would be the third Juice and Chase match we've seen.
That makes sense.
I don't think we really need to get a finish of that match. So I feel this is going to bleed into each other. And it's going to lead into a tag match where we have Juice and Mikey Nichols take on Fale and Chase.
On that card? Like that same night?
Hold
up, playa.
Yes.
Hold up, playa.
Yes.
We're going to turn this into a tag team
match.
I don't know if that will be what happens. It might be, but that doesn't seem to be Gato's booking. You know, what he likes to do is he'll have the first match, and then there'll be shenanigans. The first match gets thrown out, and then it leads into the second match. Mm-hmm. Remember, he's done that with LIJ.
Yeah, LIJ and was it
Suzuki-gun.
Yeah.
He did it twice.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility, but you know what? I think a tag team match is the way to go here, because I'm not interested in seeing Nichols and Fale, and I'm not that interested in seeing Juice and Rob and Chase again.
Yeah.
So maybe we do turn it into a tag team match, but in either case, because I guess we're both assuming that either one of the matches is going to get thrown out or it's going to turn to a tag. Who do you see winning? Because I think I'm going with
Juice and Nichols.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Juice. I'll go with Juice.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Then I think
this could be a recipe to be really bad, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I think they win, and then I think maybe Nichols challenges Juice.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That'd be cool.
So next up, we got a 10-man tag. Kota Ibushi, Tomohiro Ishii, and Kazuchika Okada against Shingo, Ibushi, Naito, Evil, and Sonata.
This is going to be great. That's all I got to say about that. That's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fire. I'm going with LIJ.
I will go with LIJ as well. Seventh match of the night, we have the Gorillas of Destiny, Tamatonga Tangaloa, taking on the most violent players, Togi Makabe and Toru Yano. How about Toru Yano has more tag team partners than anyone else, like in wrestling? He's teaming with Colt Cabana, he's teaming with Togi Makabe, teams with Ishii.
Taguchi sometimes.
This guy. But I got to go with GOD retaining. That seems to be the only thing that makes sense in my mind. Yeah,
I'm going to go with GOD retaining, especially since on today's Road 2 show, the MVPs retained the Never Six-Man titles. So, yeah, I'm going to go with GOD retaining their IWGP tag titles.
And then in the final match of the night, the main event, Hiroki Goto taking on Switchblade Jay White, which is a match I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, this has the potential to be a great main event. I'm going with Switchblade Jay White here.
I am too.
Yeah, I feel like you don't want to beat Jay again so soon. I feel like you need to continue the perception of him being a top guy and just being able to beat anybody. And I think he really needs this win going into Dominion and going into the G1.
I'll say this. Hi No Kuni does not look to be a show of the year candidate or anything of that nature. It's basically a dressed up step above a Road 2 show with we got some cool matches, but I think a lot of the matches are still kind of inconsequential. They're still building towards Wrestling Dantaku. Mm-hmm. With that being said, though, I mean, we're getting a Goto Jay White main event. We're getting a tag team title match. We're getting another great 10-man tag between Chaos and LIJ. Dragon Lee and Will Ospreay teaming up is awesome. And then, this looks like this will be an easy watch. I think it's a step down from what we got with Sengoku Lord as far as the lineup.
Yeah.
But this is still a really good show.
Yeah, I think this, dude, that 10-man I think is going to steal the show.
Which one? The
Bushi teaming up with Chaos to take on LIJ.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that wraps up things for our Wrestling Hi No Kuni predictions. And this show is on a Monday, so I'm not sure what we're going to do with the recording yet. Depending on what time we get off work, we might try and cram it in before and try to record on Monday. If not, then we'll probably just end up watching it Monday and recording on Tuesday. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Got some few off-topic questions here, then we'll go into news. First from Reddit user Jai Bryan. If Ishii faces Okada at Dominion, do you think they will use it to break up Chaos?
No. But I don't think Ishii's facing Okada at Dominion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But if they were doing that match, I don't think it would be to break up Chaos. Ishii,
I feel like in order to break up Chaos, you have to have a personal vendetta. And so that would require Ishii most likely actually turning. Now, if Ishii turned, I could see that being a death nail in the heart of Chaos. I really could. Mm-hmm. Or at least really split them up and fracture them in a major way. Because he's like, to some extent, sort of like the heart and soul of that group. Mm-hmm. Even though like he's not the vocal piece or anything, he like carries the Chaos banner. Like he physically embodies what Chaos like represents in modern times. Mm-hmm. So in this scenario, I could see that if like let's say Ishii turned on Chaos and turned away from his honorable ways, then maybe. Mm-hmm. But I don't even think that that's a big enough. Like to New Japan fans, it's a big enough match. Like it's a diehard fan's dream. But I don't know if they trust Ishii enough to try to sell out a big show like Dominion against Okada. I think Okada needs a bigger opponent than that.
Well, I will say this. I do think they should do something.
I'd like to see him wrestle again.
Yeah, I do think they should do a fresh title defense for Dominion. However, I will say this. I do feel like New Japan is almost getting to that point where the brand is the draw and not necessarily the stars. And I feel like an Okada as champion with New Japan coming in, I think they would be able to draw, let's just say they did Ishii or they did Evil. I think that they would still end up having a great attendance for that show.
I disagree. I gotta tell you, I disagree. I think to some extent, on a certain level, like let's say the house show level, mm-hmm. Do they draw better numbers on the house show level due to the fact that it's New Japan Pro Wrestling? Absolutely. But, you know, where's Dominion again? It's at
Osaka Joe Hall.
Man, Osaka's a smart crowd, bro. And that's a hot ticket. It's a big ticket. Now, could they just sell it out because it's Dominion and not announce the match ahead of time? Sure, they could. But if you notice, they have always announced the big match for the big cards like Dominion way ahead of time because it affects business. I think if you announce Ishii and Okada, they might do some business, but you know, to stay financially viable and stable, they got to really, really draw. I don't think that match draws like that. Not in that building on that night. Unless they put Ishii on some sort of miracle run between now and then.
I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if they did that, I think they would be okay.
I don't. I really don't. I think that, like, keep in mind, this is not like the multimedia conglomerate, you know, WWE is. Like, you know, a lot of their business is still derived
off of house show and attendance. But I still think that
they'll never take that chance.
I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I think, like, if they don't go with an outside option, I could see like a guy like Evil getting a title shot. But
it would be they would go with Jay White before they ever went with one of those guys. It would be Jay White. It would be Ibushi. It would be Naito. They would go with Suzuki before they went with Ishii. It would be Will Ospreay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not even Will Ospreay, to be honest with you. It would have to be a top 4 guy. It just would have to be. There's no way they're doing Dominion with Ishii or an Evil or a Sonata. Like, there's no way. Not right now.
Well, not Sonata. Sonata, he's getting a shot at
but like a guy of that level or that caliber. Yeah. Or like a Juice Robinson. Like an upper mid guy, there's no way.
Yeah, so we'll have to just pay attention and see what happens with that Dominion. You know, you kind of threw out the theory that, I think we talked about it last week, that Jericho would be a great option.
I'm still going Jericho. I think it might not actually happen, but if they're smart and if somebody from New Japan is listening, what up, Rocky? But if they're listening, that's what you do. You do whatever you need to do. You get Jericho on that card. I could totally see Jericho making another surprise appearance between now and then. Mm-hmm. Maybe at the end of this tour for the Dontaku shows, doing a run-in, attacking Okada. That's what I would do.
Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but how would you feel if instead of calling Jericho, they call Kenny, and we get another Okada match?
I'm all about that all day. I don't think it's going to happen, but like
I don't think it's going to happen either. But I just want to throw out all possibilities.
Oh my god!
I know some people.
I would freak out. I would love it.
There are some Kenny haters out there, and they don't want to see another Omega Okada match for whatever reason.
For another Okada Omega match at Dominion, take my money.
Yeah, I mean,
take my money.
Everybody knows I'm a Kenny mark, and I'd be down for that.
Yeah. I would love that. Take my money, bro. Absolutely.
But yeah, I definitely think if I were New Japan, I think Kenny or Jericho would be the way I would try and go for Dominion. Next question comes from our boy Maserati. He said, "Yo, where's that new Bullet Club cat we've been seeing vignettes about?" Well, he's going to be debuting on this tour I forget which night it is, but there's a night where Ishimori has a mystery partner. So one can only assume that's going to be El Phantasmo. So stay tuned on this Dontaku tour, and Phantasmo should be debuting soon. All right, next question. This one's going to be relying mainly on you, young boy. It comes from our boy Jack Dean, undoubtedly Dean. He tweeted at us. He says, "What would you say is the defining match of each decade?"
That is a freaking awesome question. So, I mean, that's such a good question. I love this question. Do you have any opinions on matches from each decade?
So, my New Japan history is not as good as yours, or as good as it probably should be. Initially, when I thought about this question, the first match that popped in my head was Okada Omega for the last 10 years. But
that's a great choice.
But as we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, you mentioned Okada and Tanahashi, and kind of keying in on Dean's question here, that keyword defining, and you look back, like Okada and Tanahashi, definitely one of the top rivalries of the past 10 years, a feud that created Okada as a star, the feud that kind of carried New Japan into this into where they're at right now, and just how epic and classic these Okada Tanahashi matches are. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense saying Okada Tanahashi. I don't know which one you go with. Do you go
for me? I think it would have to be. I think I go Wrestle Kingdom 9.
That's the first one, right? Or,
no,
the second one.
I almost said Wrestle Kingdom 7 because that was the first time they wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom, and that really helped business in a lot of ways. But I gotta say Wrestle Kingdom 9 because Wrestle Kingdom 9 was that seminal show that drew all the Western audience.
Mm-hmm.
It marked a huge uptick and upturn in business for them, and it was also the moment where we thought that Tanahashi was passing the torch to Okada.
Tana said nah.
And Okada
hold this high fly flow.
Okada left the ring in tears.
Yes.
I think you could also go with the first match they ever had where Okada upset Tanahashi for the title as being a defining moment. But I feel like the match at Wrestle Kingdom 9 between Okada and Tanahashi, for me, that's got to be the defining moment, within this past decade from 2010 to 2019. Right now, that for me is the defining match of this decade. If we're going to go back a bit into the DeLorean, chilling with my boy Kushida and Doc Brown to Gucci. For the 2000s, that's like the dark period of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Dark Ages, yeah.
The Dark Ages. For me, I would say the defining match, and there could be better answers than this because this is kind of where some of my fandom wanes a bit. I would go with Sasuke versus Tenryu in the Tokyo Dome. One of the best matches of that time period. You could also go with the 1 hour match between Kojima and what's his partner's name? Why do I forget?
Tenzan.
Yeah, Tenzan and Kojima. Where they unified the titles. You could do that for sure. But to me, like nothing like screams that like it's just so defining. Like, having strong style, like this representative of strong style take on this representative of King's Road, All Japan versus New Japan, just the heat behind it, just the viciousness. We watched that match not too long ago, and that match was freaking great. That would be my answer for the 2000s, although you could have better answers, honestly. For the 90s, there's two answers. One answer for me would be Great Sasuke and Wild Pegasus, Chris Benoit, the finals of the is it J Cup or is it the Super J Cup? Yeah, 94. Just because that was like the mecca of tape trading back in the day. It was for a long time considered the greatest match that had ever happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I also think that you could hypothetically go with either the Muto versus Takada match, or you could go with Hashimoto versus Takada from the UWFI New Japan feud, where they sold out the Tokyo Dome and did like close to, I don't know what the number is, something ridiculous, like 65,000 fans. Those matches are very defining as far as like defining Puroresu in general in New Japan from the 90s. But for me, I think I would go with Great Sasuke versus Wild Pegasus. For the 80s, this one's fun. I would go with the Ishin Gundan versus Sekigun gauntlet match from, I believe it's 1983. I think to me, it's the top 10 best match of the 80s. I think it's maybe the best New Japan Pro Wrestling match of the 80s. I'd have to take a look at who all was involved in that match, but you had Fujinami, you had Choshu, you had those are the two leaders. I'm trying to remember everybody that was in this match. Off the top of my head, I cannot recall everybody, but what I love about this match, it goes over an hour. It's one of the longest matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling history, but what's great about it is you get to see every single style of 80s New Japan represented in one match. Brawling, the main event style, the shoot style, their juniors. Pretty much everything is represented in one beautiful match, and it's one of the most heated feuds, one of the most heated matches in the history of the company. I would definitely check that out. And then for the 70s, because I can go back to the 70s, to me, that's a tough one. I think there's for defining matches, there's probably 3 answers to this. You could easily say Karl Gotch versus Antonio Inoki for their opening, the first show they ever did, the first main event. That's an easy answer just because of how defining that obviously is, and Inoki losing to Karl Gotch in the first match and putting Karl Gotch over clean, which was a big deal. You could also argue, I don't know if whether it falls under New Japan Pro Wrestling umbrella or not, but I believe it does. You could also go with the Ali versus Inoki match, which is a big deal. But to me, the one that I would pick would have to be Billy Robinson versus Antonio Inoki from, I believe, 75. They only wrestled once. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match, goes Broadway. It is close to 5 stars. It's the best match of the 70s in New Japan Pro Wrestling by far. And if you've never seen it, it's a totally different style. You have to, really appreciate the art of wrestling.
I'm sure it's more a catch.
It's a catch. Yeah, it's a catch, but the last fall is so freaking good. And I mean, Billy Robinson's one of the greatest practitioners there ever was. Him and Inoki go out there and they freaking kill it. There's very few guys in the 70s that could keep up with Inoki, and Billy Robinson is better than him. So yeah, it's great. Those would be my answers.
Nice. So yeah, good question, Dean. Glad I have the knowledge of the young boy here to get a solid answer for that question. Next question comes from Reddit user DomHomie101. He says, does it feel like a lot of the booking plans have changed due to injuries and departures?
Yes.
Do you think that we were supposed to get Ibushi versus Tanahashi at Dominion before the reports came out that Tana was injured?
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. That probably is what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have no idea what the booking plans were, but obviously
it makes a lot of sense to me.
With Ibushi kind of looking up to Tanahashi
and their history,
the whole history of the white strap, that definitely
and their match from the G1 last year.
Yeah, and I mean we're kind of getting all the news out as we're talking, but NJPW Global tweeted out today that Tanahashi has been discharged from the hospital after receiving treatment on his left elbow. And I've been kind of hearing,
what if Ibushi wins and then defends at Dominion against Tanahashi still?
They could do that.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. But one thing I want to say quick on this Tanahashi thing, I've been hearing from some people that this whole elbow injury might have been a work.
Who's saying that?
I've heard from different people, different podcasts.
Reputable?
Yeah, reputable sources saying that the Tanahashi injury could have been a work, and it's just Tanahashi taking a break before he gets ready for Dominion.
That's a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard that, but it's a possibility.
So yeah, I mean that Tanahashi Ibushi, that could still happen at Dominion. He also continues to say, what would it say if Okada versus Evil would draw the same or better numbers than the Okada versus Omega matches that took place at the previous 2 Dominions?
Honestly, I gotta tell you, I don't think that would happen. But let's say in this scenario, let's say it did happen. Evil's very popular over in Japan, and with the fact that it would be 2 natives going against one another in a big main event, I don't think that would necessarily speak negatively of Kenny Omega. This is not me trying to stand for him, but it would speak to the level of success that I believe that New Japan is at current day. Because I don't, and maybe even the perceived popularity of Evil current day. Because if you asked me a year ago, do I think it's possible if they headlined with Evil and Okada in that same spot, they would have done big numbers? I would say no. Is it more reasonable and believable in 2019 after everything they've done to build up Evil over the past couple of years? Yeah, it actually is. He's very, 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 very over, very popular.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, I think people underestimate sometimes just how popular Evil is and just how the company views Evil and the way he's booked. But yeah, I mean, if that was to happen, I mean, I think that would kind of help elevate Evil.
It's just, here's the thing, okay? So it's like New Japan has been ramping up for years now, Every year, their big shows do bigger numbers than the previous year for the most part. So it's like, do you discredit, say, Wrestle Kingdom? Was it Wrestle Kingdom 11 when Omega and Okada wrestled?
Yeah.
Do you discredit how important that match was and how big it was and the business they did just because the next year, Okada and Naito and Omega and Jericho did bigger numbers? Like, no, because it's a momentum thing. And obviously New Japan's business is at a better point in 2019 than it was in 2017 or 2018. So I wouldn't use that to be like, use that to discredit Omega and Okada, because we wouldn't be where we're at right now without the success of that show. And this it's brick by brick. This stuff's just been building on one another. But I will tell you, at the same time, I think Okada Evil, you put that in the main event, I don't think it draws the same numbers as Omega and Okada personally. I just don't.
Yeah, I think Omega Okada feud was, just built. There's more build behind that than than an Evil Omega match Evil Okada match would be this year. And the last question that Dom Homie has, he says, do you think NJPW will be trying to run a big show in Tampa next year for Mania weekend?
That's a tough question. I really don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I think part of it
kind of don't.
Part of it depends on what the relationship with Ring of Honor will look like at that time next year, because if you look back now at the last 2 Ring of Honor Mania shows, G1 Supercard and the previous year's Supercard of Honor, New Japan has worked with Ring of Honor on those shows, and they've drawn well. Supercard was 6,000, and then we had the MSG sellout. And so New Japan's, that's kind of been the Mania show they've attached themselves to. So if the relationship with Ring of Honor and New Japan is still going at this time next year, I'm sure Ring of Honor will be doing some kind of big show Mania weekend, and I mean, if the relationship's still going, I could see New Japan, being a part of that show again.
I know New Japan wants to make big inwaves into the Western market, so it's not inconceivable that they would run WrestleMania weekend with Ring of Honor or by themselves. But let's say with Ring of Honor, it's a lot more likely, because Ring of Honor is going to run Supercard no matter what. They're doing that. Mm-hmm. Does New Japan, and I don't think New Japan, unless they sever their ties with Ring of Honor, I don't see them coming here and running as a competition to Ring of Honor.
Right.
So that's one point. But let's say hypothetically, for whatever reason, Supercard got moved, they don't run WrestleMania weekend, and New Japan was just going to run on their own, or let's say they're partnered with AEW or something, I don't know. I don't know that they necessarily want to come in and try to run on WrestleMania weekend. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's their goal or their aim. I feel like the opportunity was there to do it in MSG with Ring of Honor. I don't know if they take that chance and do that on their own. This is a very conservative company. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we got to consider is where would they even run?
Right, because, Tampa area doesn't really have that many big venues, and a lot of the big venues are being locked down by WWE. Amalie Arena, one of our bigger arena here, where the Tampa Bay Lightning play, and that's
WWE's gonna have that locked up.
Yeah, whenever WWE comes to town, that's where Raw and SmackDown is. So Raw, SmackDown, and Takeover is locked up.
Probably the award ceremony, the Hall of Fame as well.
Hall of Fame, yeah, and then obviously Raymond James Stadium. That's where WrestleMania will be. They got the Convention Center locked down for access.
We've considered this quite a bit. We've thought about options, and it's like, well, they could go 2 hours north to say the Amway Arena and run in Orlando. That's a possibility.
Right. There's also the Sun Dome that's here in Tampa.
Yep, the Sun Dome. That's where USF Bulls play. But that is a smaller arena. I think it's only maybe 10 at most, maybe not even. That's an old arena. There is also an amphitheater here with AEW running an amphitheater show in Jacksonville. It's not inconceivable that they could run the Mid-Credit Center amphitheater. That's a pretty big venue, but then that's the point we're at. Just so you understand, we're moving from an arena to what other options are there? Well, there's an amphitheater. There's a couple soccer stadiums, but
there's a baseball stadium.
There's some baseball stadiums, but we're talking about unconventional, non-standard. There's not big arenas in Tampa. Generally speaking, ROH runs in
Lakeland. Yeah,
they do have that arena that they run in Lakeland, the RF Center, and there is an arena there, and it's kind of big, but 5,000-6,000 maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Probably it's not that big. That might be where they run. Supercard, most likely. Hopefully the setup's better than it was the last time we were there for that, though.
Well, we were never there for. Well, I didn't go to Supercard.
Not Supercard, but when we were at that arena.
For when Kenny was there, or the other taping?
Well, no, when Kenny was there, we were in the ballroom.
Right.
The other taping was in the actual arena, and the light setup and everything was janky.
Yeah. Well, it was a small little house show. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, the setup they have is better for a show like that, because that arena is not outfitted with giant lights and stuff like that at the top, or a giant screen or anything.
Well, Zach and I were there for the TV tapings.
It was better?
And it was lit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's really feasible for New Japan to actually run a show out here. They might just send guys and have them featured with Ring of Honor and do their general thing. Yeah,
it's going to be real interesting in general to see where all the indie companies run. We already know that WWN has the JCC center kind of locked down for all their shows, but it's going to be interesting to see, where your WrestleCons and your Joey Janela's and your Blood Sports and all those guys, where they're going to end up running here next year. But good question, Dom, homie, and hopefully we'll be seeing you and a lot of our Keeping It Strong Style listeners here in our home city of Tampa.
2.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. All right, so gonna close out with the news. A lot of the news stuff we've kind of covered throughout the show, so I only have a few kind of things to touch on.
I feel good about this episode. This was a good episode.
Yeah. So first thing to cover, Tomohiro Ishii and Togi Makabe will be joining Legends in Riki Choshu's retirement match. So this retirement match is happening on June 26th at the Power Hall event in Korakuen Hall.
Tomohiro Ishii is a trainee of Riki Choshu. I don't know if Togi Makabe is or not, but Riki Choshu is one of my favorite guys ever. So
so Choshu will be teaming up with Shiro Koshinaka and Tomohiro Ishii, and they'll be taking on Tatsumi Fujinami, Keiji Muto, and Togi Makabe.
Why is Muto still wrestling? I thought he retired twice. They retired Muto, and then they retired Muta last year. That's crazy. But no, that's cool. Shiro Koshinaka, that's an OG dude from the junior division. I'm a big fan. Well, I don't know if I like Koshinaka, but still. Last time I saw him, though, wrestle was in the Rambo a couple years ago.
Also, they're going to have Tiger Hattori as the referee for this match, and this show's already sold out. And So yeah, we'll see you. I think they might end up putting it on New Japan World. So
I would love to see that. Well, it's gonna be sad, but I still love to see it. I love Ricky Choshi, bro. That's like, it might be one of my like favorite guys. Well, it's top 5 favorite guy from the 80s.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch some more Choshi matches. Like we alluded to last week, a second event has been added to the Australia Southern Showdown Tour. It'll be happening June 30th in Sydney, Australia.
Just 1 year ago, that entire tour was dominated by who's the real leader of the Bullet Club, Kenny or Cody. 1 year ago, man. Crazy.
Yeah, so now we got 2 shows, the 29th and 30th, and the commercial for these shows. It looks to be very Bullet Club heavy. Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Hikuleo, Fale, Ishimori, those seem to be the main guys featured in the commercial for this tour. So I guess kind of,
probably too because they're well known as a brand down there, down under.
Yeah.
I have a terrible Australian accent.
And I know Chris Bryan from our team will be planning on hitting those shows up.
Maybe we can have a little run-in from my boy.
Yeah, we'll get a live report from Chris.
Live report from Chris. I love Chris Bryan so much.
So yeah, that'd be great.
Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Jeremy Tate. Grown Men Watch This Shit.
Yeah, they've been on. I believe they've been on the network officially a year now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man, congrats. I love their show. I was on the last episode. I didn't even remember it.
Yeah, you had a little run-in because they recorded some stuff from New York.
We're talking about Flat Earth. That's great.
Oh, man. So Ring of Honor has announced some more matches for the War of the Worlds Tour. Villain Enterprises, Marty Scurll, PCO, and Brody King will be defending their Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles against Jeff Cobb, Yuji Nagata, and Satoshi Kojima in Buffalo.
That sounds cool.
That sounds like a pretty good little match.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
I might tune in for this War of the Worlds tour. They actually got Japanese guys on it.
Yeah, and some of the other matches don't look too bad. I mean, God against Lethal and Gresham, I think should be good. They're gonna have Flip Gordon versus Bandito 1-on-1.
I'm here to see this man PCO take the strap
from Matt Taven.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a hilarious PCO video out last week where he's like wearing a suit, but Destro's like still doing the training, like runs, like he's like slowly like backing the car up on him, and it's crazy, dude. These PCO videos are wild.
Stuff's great. And then the last bit of news, closing out the show, Jushin Thunder Liger versus Mascara Dorada for the CMLL World Middleweight title is your free match of the week, Monday's free match of the week, so be sure to check that out. You can catch that on njpwworld.com or YouTube, and it's free.
Yeah, so go ahead and check that out. Always great to watch some old school Liger matches.
I love Liger. Oh my god, I love Liger so much. Any last thoughts before we go?
I don't think so. I mean, next week we'll be back to review Wrestling Hi No Kuni, and like I mentioned, might be delayed depending on how quickly we can watch that on Monday. And then also we'll give you our predictions for Wrestling Dontaku. That's happening May 3rd and May 4th. And also, we'll be able to announce Wrestler of the Month and Match of the Month next week as well. So yeah, next week's going to be a jam-packed episode. So make sure you're subscribed and tune in. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I am at Jeremy L. Donovan. The show is at KI Strong Style. You can also follow us at Social Suplex. On Reddit, I am The Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. Make sure you check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we have One Nation Radio with Rich Latta and James Boyd, kind of covering the gamut of the wrestling world. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. And I know those guys just went to the NXT Glasgow TV taping, so I'm sure they'll be talking all about that. Also, every other Wednesdays, we have our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling, Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryant. On Thursdays, we have NXT Then, Now, and Forever with James Boyd. He watches an episode of NXT 5 years ago, and then this current week's NXT with a rotating co-host. And then on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite, your podcast for all elite wrestling, hosted by our man Floyd Johnson Jr., doing a great job on that show, keeping you up to date on everything AEW. So check out all those shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Subscribe to the network, leave us a rating and review, help us get over, and we will catch you guys next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Ichiban.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.